All right, we are live on YouTube. Welcome to our YouTube audience. And these defenses are just so bad.
I mean, it's just like it's like it's just a lack of like really the whole night lack of good tackling, lack of just making
These
adjustments.
secondaries are unbelievably bad.
Like, what do the Packers really have in their secondary besides Xavier McKinney? Nothing. Like that, there's nothing there. I mean, you listen. I know Jair Alexander is was hurt a lot, but he was your best corner. Like he makes a difference. Like this is like every freaking play is just a bomb for against that defense. Every play is a blown coverage. Every play is a bomb. It's like it doesn't make any sense. It does not make any. And the worst part is, Micah Parsons tonight non-factor. Well, they've been doubling him, which I mean that says a lot about the respect that Dallas has for their D line. That they're doubling Parsons and no one else is able to get through the line. And then not just that, but
Maybe you shouldn't have traded him.
yeah, yeah, and then like well, honestly, it's looking so far. It's looking like it might be a good thing that they did. Um,
Maybe, I don't know. The value might not outweigh that. We'll see.
yeah, well, yeah, because Kenny Clark is not value. For, you
He
know, for
doesn't. He doesn't. I can't believe that they really wanted him. He doesn't really add a dimension to this defense at all.
no, and
Are you kidding me?
I'll see it.
What in the crap is going on, bro?
Dude,
Bruh.
yeah, I'll see it in a second.
Oh, are you kidding me?
2nd and 7.
Dude. What in the world? What?
I mean, bro, these guys are
he
wide
was
open. Like,
he was throwing it away, dude. I thought he was throwing it away.
like
Oh my god, I'm
wow. And Tolbert, was it Tolbert just kept his foot in too on that catch, that first foot.
Holy crapola, dude. This is so. Oh my god.
And
This
just as
is
a
this
reminder,
is this, is
just a
this
reminder,
pot? Is this pot cookies? Like are
I
we?
mean,
It's
no,
not what I mean. What I mean is like, are we actually having pot currently? Like, are we in a pot-filled dream or something?
I, I don't like, like what I don't understand for either side in this game is like, there's been just a lot of prayer balls thrown up,
That are caught.
and there's no DB within 10 miles of it. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense. Like on that play, where is the DB? Like, how do you allow Tolbert to push off you in the end zone, slip, and still come back to the ball? Like, what are you guarding at that point? Dak Prescott's
You're
not throwing that
guarding
ball.
air. You're guarding air. Is what you're doing.
Like, I don't understand. I just don't
This is
like.
this is. Oh my god, Parsons is in. Okay.
Looking at that Packers defense. Who do they really have as a difference maker? I mean, I don't see it.
Same with the Cowboys. I think the
Like,
Cowboys are in a much worse situation, but this doesn't look good for the Packers either.
both of these teams, no matter who, and once again, this is another game. Like if Dallas wins on Dallas' side of things, if Dallas wins, you can't be happy about this win. Your defense is horrific.
We'll be
Like,
happy about it. Jerry Jones in the locker room.
oh yeah, he'll be like, oh yeah, go win, boys. But it's like, yeah, okay, but
We're Super Bowl contenders now.
yeah,
Woo! No, you're
yeah,
not.
at 2-2, when you've been killed by. Funny enough, that's the first play that Micah Parsons has made all night. The first play he's made all night. And it's not even like it's in the fourth quarter. It's an OT. It's outside of regulation.
This is crazy.
So basically, it took 5 quarters for Micah Parsons to make a play against Dallas.
Well, yeah. I mean, minus 5 minutes because obviously you don't do 15.
Well, yeah. Well, so yeah, it basically took 4.5 quarters for Michael Parsons to make a difference in this game.
Oh my holy God.
I can't. Why? Like watching these two teams, it's like listen, is it a great?
It's
shootout?
awesome. It's awesome for offenses, right? Because we like good offensive football, but like, I like how we always flip the other way. We're just like, yeah, these defenses actually suck.
Like, there's such a thing as like being able to have a good offensive game, but still have good defense. Like if a final score is like 27-24 or something like that, and you have like a couple turnovers on either side, that's a good game both ways. But like,
yeah,
this is just the battle of whose defense sucks more. Like that's literally all this is.
Oh my God.
And I don't know what Dak was doing on that 3rd and goal, by the way. I mean, they're going to get points out of it, but what the hell was that 3rd and goal throwing the ball at the back of the end zone?
You're giving Green Bay a shot to get a touchdown here. I mean, they obviously get the ball. Thank God for the new rules, but you know what I mean.
Oh my God, we could legit end in a tie. We're in tie territory. We're actually in tie territory.
You know, it would be quite fitting if these two teams go into a tie.
Anyway, it would benefit neither of them. It might benefit the Packers, actually. It wouldn't benefit Dallas to be in a tie.
The boys, yeah. Shane will come on here and lose his freaking mind.
I can't believe that we have to sit through 4 more minutes of this. Well, maybe depending on what happens here. I don't know. I love, pun intended, I love good quarterbacking.
I love.
Like I love to watch good quarterbacks, but here's the problem. It's they're like both of them are just throwing up prayer balls tonight. and like they're just getting caught because there's no defender within 10 yards of the ball. Like it's not like they're throwing it in tight windows. It's not like they're I mean, some of the throws, yes, but most of these throws are not tight windows. They're wide open receivers. They're just easy completions, or they're just easy completions deep down the field. So it's like,
yeah, it's like why are you? It kind of feels like, and this wasn't the case the whole game. It kind of feels like both teams are just playing soft zone, and the receivers are getting in the zone. Now that's not been the whole game, but still,
like in the first half, I thought this game was decent. In the second half, both defenses just completely opened up.
Would you like to talk about Kevin Petula?
Oh, if I do, we might get banned.
Be careful.
No, I know, but it's the same problem that I like I said that I had with Brian Johnson back in 2023. Are you winning games? Yes, but here's the problem. It looks like crap.
Like, you know what's funny though? We were talking about how Kevin Petula like runs a bunch of screens and it doesn't work. This entire Packers Cowboys game, both teams running screens and it working.
Because it's cleaner execution. And the thing is, you can't run like they're disguising their screens. Like it's not just the same screenplay, just flipped. Like what the Eagles did today was run the same screenplay. But here's the problem: is that the execution, like they're losing 2 or 3 yards in the screenplay because they're not disguising it. You're running a screenplay out of pretty much pistol formation. Like it doesn't work. That does not work. You are lining up. You are literally the entire. And here's the problem: first half play calling, phenomenal. It was like the second half last week. It was phenomenal. We were running trick plays. They couldn't stop a single one of them. It looked like almost got like for a second. I was like, "Is this Kevin Petula or is this Ben Johnson's Lions offense?" Like from last year, where it was like they were scoring at will. But then the second half, why are you falling asleep? That's the problem I have. The game is not over. I get if you want to be conservative in the fourth quarter and we're up by 20 points, 30 points, then I get running the clock out there. But the first The first play and the first drive of the third quarter, you come out of half, you're up by 18, you're up 24-6. What is that play calling coming out of the half? Like, you are running, and then everybody's like, oh, why is Saquon Barkley struggling? Because our dipshit coordinator is running him into a stacked box of 7 or 8 guys every single play, and you wonder why he can't go anywhere? He's got 3 guys hitting him in the backfield before as the snap is getting underway. Like, what are we doing here? It's like this team has all the talent in the world, but please, for the love of God, with the play calling, pull your head out of your ass. Like, this isn't hard. They ran the entire second half. They ran the same exact plays out of the same exact formation for 2 whole quarters. And the only reason you scored was you ran a fake tush push and a run with Saquon Barkley. That
was probably one of the best runs, if not the best runs Saquon's had all year.
Like what hurts me is like Jalen in the first half was 15 of, or was he 15? I think, yeah, he was 15 of 16, I think, or 15 of 18 at the half. He was playing a perfect game. All the passes were on time. The play calling was perfect. The throws were on the money. Everything was working. In the second half, Tampa made adjustments. Philly just never did.
Yeah, they just never made adjustments at all. Also, what was this pass?
I'll see it. Why are we throwing prayer balls? Why?
Because now they think it's going to work.
But Jordan Love, whenever they needed a big throw tonight, it's been that same like he's throwing Russell Wilson moon balls to nobody.
Like, do you think Russell Wilson has any trade value?
No, at this point, none.
Because honestly, this is going to sound really bad. But if you're the Bengals, you might as well just stick with Jake Browning. Is Russell Wilson going to make them any better?
No. He can't throw a football.
This sounds so bad, but I think we're at that point with Russell Wilson where, honestly, we'd rather have Jake Browning. This sounds disturbing.
But at least Jake Browning can throw for 300 yards in a game. Russell Wilson did it once this year, but that was an anomaly because it came against a crappy Cowboys defense. So, like, Russell Wilson is never going to, like, I don't think he's ever going to have a game again. First of all, he's not going to start ever again. But second of all, if he does ever play at any point ever again, like, that guy's not going to clear, 150, 200 yards passing in a game ever again. He's done.
Like, yeah, Ian Rappaport reported this morning that he might have a trade market. I'm like, with who?
For who in God's... Who would want him? Cleveland? No.
Cincinnati? Probably no. I still would say no, as amazing as that sounds.
Like, let's look at all the bad teams in this league. The Saints today with Spencer Rattler didn't actually look half bad.
No. I really quick on that. The Bills, I think, just had an off day. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not worried at all. Well, they're playing on Sunday night next week. Watch them ragdoll the Patriots next week.
See, right there with the Cowboys, it's 4th and 6. Why is there a guy sitting down in the middle of the field ready to catch that ball? In between, what was that, four Dallas defenders? Why? What defense is that supposed to be where there's 4 guys covering nothing? I'm not a Cowboys fan. I hate the Cowboys. I hope they lose. But at the same time, what is that defense?
Scoopy! Let's see. Scoop! I don't think your mic is working. Hold on a moment. Hold on.
This football hurts me.
This game hurts me. Oh my God, Jesus!
There we go.
All right, there we go. Scoop. Before we talk about this Packers game with you, do you think Russell Wilson has any trade value at all?
No.
End of story. Just no. Just no.
I am a big.
Make sure you mute your background noise, Scoop. I hear Chris Collinsworth's voice.
Yeah, sorry, I haven't.
No, you're fine. You're completely fine.
Give me one
We
second
we can hear that man's majestic voice for a little bit.
Oh man.
1 second, I gotta find my remote.
You're okay. Yeah, I love how Scoop was just like,
There
no,
it is.
he doesn't have any. Honestly, if I'm Cincinnati, Scoop, I'd rather have Jake Browning than Russell Wilson right now.
Well, so here's the thing. Cincinnati, with their notoriously cheap ass owner Mike Brown and their front office, even if they would make that type of, I mean, even if he would be an upgrade over Jake Browning, I don't see them making that type of move. I just don't. And because I think I don't think at this stage of his career Russ is guaranteed enough of an upgrade over Browning for whatever you could potentially give up for him. And
I think that's absolutely correct.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
yeah, and that's that, and like especially to take a team like Cincinnati, they don't do a lot when it comes to big money, so they rely heavily on their draft picks. I've seen it because you guys know, you know what I've seen with the organization over the, particularly in the 2010s. So having seen all that, I know how much they rely on their draft picks. So how they value, like they're not an Eagles, a Rams that basically doesn't care about their 7th round picks. They're going to hold on to those 7th round picks about as much as any team in the NFL will. So, they
or do whatever it takes to upgrade a 7th to a 6th, which they do.
Yeah.
Them and Cleveland, ironically, also do that a lot.
Yeah, well, Cleveland also, they currently are under the Andy Berry regime, but particularly in their past under the regime of Sashi Brown when he was there, he was the predecessor to John Dorsey, who I think that they were not intelligent for firing, and he's now with the Lions, who is obviously we've seen what he's been able to help do over there, but my point in saying all this has just been that I think that any asking price that I think the Giants will set, even if objectively we think it's a fair asking price, I don't think that the Bengals will do it. And if they say we'll do it, but we want this back, I think the Giants are just going to say screw it. We're not going to give up something to get rid of him.
Yeah, and to be truthful, I don't think he has much of, like Ian Rappaport. I was telling Brandon, like Ian Rappaport said this morning, like, oh, he has trade market value, and I'm like, for who? I just don't believe he has any.
There's 32 teams in the NFL, based on injuries, based on I don't think that you are gonna. I don't think it's impossible to find one of the 31 other teams that would be interested in him. When I said that, I'm thinking like, will they have a market where they can play offers off of one another? That I don't think is the case. I think finding
that's a more logical way of putting it. I think absolutely.
Yeah, I think in this day and age, if you're a quarterback who can still sling it on the field, even as a backup, I think you're always going to have at least one team that could potentially at least be willing to kick the tires on you. But I think that you're not going to, it's not going to be, oh, I don't like what I'm getting from Cincinnati, let's call Atlanta. Like, I don't think that they're in that situation or anywhere near it. And I think that he, especially now with the way Jackson Dart came out today and played, when you're being outplayed by a guy who has never seen an NFL field before and has never played in an NFL offense before, I think that Russ's trade value went down today even further after the way that Jackson Dart played.
Yeah, I mean, look, Dart just did the right things, right? And that's what you ask for a guy.
Yeah, well,
Dart just did the right things for 4 quarters.
Yeah, basically just go out there, play mistake free, move the ball, and if there's a big play to be made, then great. But you also don't force. Just because there's a go route on half the plays doesn't mean you have to take the go route receiver on every play.
Exactly. Yep. 100%. And that's what Jackson Dart did well today, Brandon. Just
He did.
did everything simply.
Yeah, I mean, it's never going to look super pretty because the Giants have a ton of injuries now, and that affected kind of his play throughout the game. But I think that at this point, you just look at it and go, was it a great first game? No. Was it good enough to win? Yes.
And that's what you want. That's exactly what you want.
And I'll add this on top of that as well. It was good enough to win, and we came into this thing. Most people thought that the Chargers were going to run away with this one, and it's not like he just did this over.
We're gonna have a tie.
What just happened?
We're gonna have a tie.
The game, it's a tie.
Oh God! All that
honestly, well deserved.
I mean, what was Green Bay's play calling in the red zone there?
I didn't think I could hate the Dallas Cowboys anymore.
It felt like they were just trying to run out the clock, Brandon, right? Am I tripping here?
God.
I mean, bro.
I gotta turn off my TV. I'll be right back. A tie, guys! A tie!
Oh my God. At that point, I'd rather you play to win the game on 4th and goal. Ties don't help you, really. In the end. I don't know. I can't.
Dude. Scoop, that's a bad result for both teams.
Yeah, well,
you're Shane in the chat.
Well, here's Shane going. Go ahead, Scoop.
I'm just fixing to say, I don't know what more we should have expected. I had higher hopes for the Packers because I thought that last week they I thought they went up against an underrated Browns defense, but maybe the Packers and the Cowboys are just both teams. I'm incredibly I'm shocked by some of what I was seeing like in this game. Like multiple times I saw, which by the way, I'm just gonna say it. Am I being dramatic, or did they miss or not call a DPI on Bland that would have been called a DPI on any other defensive back?
I might have missed that.
They did. They apparently missed a DPI on. I think when Wicks went to the ground to catch that prayer ball from Love with what was it like a minute left or something like that. They didn't call it. I think probably should have been.
4 hours of football and in all caps, no winner or loser from Shane. He is not happy right now.
Honestly,
oh
I would rather.
I'd rather have a field goal off at this point.
I would rather, you know what? Make them go back and forth from 70. Make Brandon Aubrey and make McManus go back and forth from 70 and see who makes the first kick.
Shane said soccer's a stupid sport. I'm very upset. I love me some soccer, but Jesus. But yeah, no, they should do like a field goal kick. One of Shane's friends.
Oh.
But no, I mean, Jesus. Oh my God.
I can't believe 3.5 hours of my life I'll never get back.
True.
Yeah.
I
not even 3.5, basically 4 hours.
Basically four felt like 4.5.
See, I was losing track because I forgot for a second that it's 12:13 out there. So yeah, the game would have started at 8:20 or whatever. Yeah,
8:20. Yeah.
Yep. But oh my God. And this is what happens.
If you're hearing the background, it's Shane texting upset about ties.
Yeah, I know. But this is what happens, and we talked about this either last episode or the episode before. This is what happens when you schedule teams for these big games based on the branding identity that they built up in the 1990s and the 1980s, rather than what they're actually doing the last year or two. Because you could make a sort of an argument for the Packers after last year, but there was no reason to put a Dallas Green Bay game on Sunday Night Football.
Well, they got lucky because it was the Micah Parsons storyline.
And I think part of it was that, but I think also what was it that playoff matchup they had in the wild card divisional round in Dallas like a few years ago when Aaron Rodgers beat them.
Yeah, but like you said, a few years. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has not been in Green Bay for 3 years.
Yeah,
that is true. Scoop, would you like to add to the Kevin Patullo should be fired hour? Is that the name of the segment? You guys need to come up with a better name for the segment.
Yeah,
because I don't have anything good.
I mean, I'll let Brandon go first because
he already went. This is your show. He's already fried.
My bad.
I've already lost my marbles enough.
Yeah, no, that's why I was disappointed we couldn't make Discord work earlier because I thought that was going to be really entertaining. But but no, I was not watching this game from that vantage point the same way that Brandon was. I didn't really have a strong like that wasn't basically how I was watching the game. I was watching the game basically because again I knew that for whatever reason Tampa Bay always seems to have our number, and unlike another Tampa Bay team, they came to win today. They basically were.
We will get to the other Tampa Bay team later. Just a quick tease for y'all.
Yeah. And we saw. I don't know if y'all saw it, but there was a clip of Baker Mayfield and Coach Sirianni going at it, which I found entertaining.
Shane doesn't want to come in because he's mad about the tie.
Oh my God!
He just spent 2 hours watching films of our linebackers.
You can't say that. You can't say that. You can't say that on air. You can't. I stopped you. You can't say that on air.
Because that's not how the word didn't show up that way at first, so I didn't realize what he was saying at first.
I stopped. I saved your bell.
You did. I didn't even know what he was saying.
We can't say that, man.
But
I'll be honest. That was a sad loss for Shane's high school team on Friday. But we will get to something about that later.
Anyway, to go back with the original question, watching all that unfold, this was I think the first time we saw us go get it in Jalen's hands and get it to the hands of the playmakers early on, which I was happy to see. The issue that I had, which is why I don't have much to say about Patullo, because I didn't find the issues that I found that most of the issues today that I had were on the defensive side of things. It just, in my vantage point, you can't start and build up that type of momentum and build up that type of the game was 3 possession, almost 4 possession at one point, and it came down to a last minute situation against them. I understand Tampa Bay is a good team. I understand that Tampa Bay is always going to hang around. I understand that a Baker Mayfield quarterback team is never going to be, is never just going to roll over. But when you've got that much of an advantage over a team, toward the middle of the game, you can't let them that far back in. You can't take the foot off the gas that much to the point where, you're in that situation. And that's just been I think there's a lot of advantages about the bend but don't break type of defense. I think that there's a lot of advantages that exist with that. But I think that some of it wasn't, I think, the offense's fault because as Brandon knows, at one point they had to take out Lane Johnson left the game and they put in Fred Jackson.
Fred Jackson.
Yeah, Fred Johnson. I was going to say. So that obviously you're talking about perhaps one of the greatest right tackles of all time there. So losing that is not any sort of a it's not like you're just going to run back and make the exact same type of offense happen without him. It's just not going to happen. So I think that there was some issues with that as well. I got some people were asking me after the game about Saquon Barkley being in a slump, but again, talking about Saquon, we knew coming into this season that teams, if they had any sense of defensive strategy, their game planning against us was going to be first, second, and third was going to be stop the run against or stop Saquon, up the middle and make Jalen Hurts beat you in the passing game. And we've at least seen over the last couple of weeks some evidence that he can do that. I saw earlier today. I think Hurts was 9 for 9 against the blitz today. So he was. There's a lot of things to like there, but one of the things the main thing I obviously don't like is that you're playing these types of games where you're able to build up this significant advantage toward halftime or thereabouts, but then it's like the offense will show up for one half and the defense will show up for the other half, but they're not actually showing up simultaneously long enough.
That's a really good point. Yeah,
and that's I think the main, because last week we saw the defense was clamping down in the beginning, but then the offense waited until the seventh inning stretch to wake up. This week the offense came out the gate red hot, but it felt like all of a sudden it felt like as soon as they were kind of a little bit kind of sputtering or at least not as red hot as they started, then all of a sudden the defense was tasked with holding this lead, and it's like they showed up and then they didn't, and then they showed up and then they didn't, and we saw it last year. In order for this thing to be well-oiled machine that's going to take us to that where the team wants to be, you can't have that, and so I think that was probably my biggest frustration, and just seeing that there's no excuse for the lack of a pass rush that I saw today. There's no excuse when you've got those types of guys on your defensive line. You got those types of guys in your front seven. You've got the depth that Howie Roseman has built up over the last few years. Shout out to Jihad Campbell, who had one of the best plays I think I've seen of the season this year. As I said to Brandon, he's not Jihad Campbell, he's Jihad Kinball.
Campbell's chunky soup, get him in there.
I love it.
But yeah, so anyway, I know I've taken a couple minutes on this, but those are really my two main takeaways. Is that you can't. I don't care who you're playing against. There's no excuse to be that lackadaisical in the pass rush, and you got to be better at playing fully in sync and not letting these teams hang around as long as they did. Because after the way that they put a haymaker to them early on, there's absolutely no reason that they should have hung around for as many rounds as they did. I don't care who it is. But I will say I think because it was Tampa, I think that was probably the team that was going to play us toughest in that situation. But again, you're not going to be facing the no disrespect to them, but you're not going to be facing the Atlanta Falcons in the playoffs. You're not going to be facing the Tennessee Titans in the playoffs. You got to be. We can't just say, "Oh, this is a really good team." Okay, and it's got to be a really good team that we can put into the ground.
And it's on top of that too. It's not like you weren't even facing the Buccaneers at full strength. Mike Evans is out. Chris Godwin just came back from an injury. Baker
had a pretty good day too.
Arm. You faced a bunch of guys that were banged up and they were out. Like you didn't even face Tampa. You faced Tampa at pretty much 70%. And you let them hang around and destroy you in that second half. And that's just, that's the problem I have too, is I let the defense slide a little bit today because when they had to have it, they got it. But, and that's been Vic Fangio's calling card, is even on games where they don't look great, which they normally do, but even when they don't look great, they still always find a way to get it done.
Yeah, that's what I meant by the bend but don't break defense.
Exactly. But what contributes to them falling apart in that second half today defensively, the offense can't keep going 3 and out every 15 seconds. You can't run literally in the second half. I don't think I saw more than maybe 2 different formations. They basically ran the same 3 plays every single drive with no adjustments. Right. And I was like,
you and I have talked about. I'm sorry, it glitched. I didn't realize you were still talking. I'm sorry.
I was like, yeah, but you cannot run the ball. You're in the pistol formation, or you're in a single back formation. You had one right. You had Devontae on the left or right, and you had AJ on the opposite side. So you only had one wide receiver out wide. You had everybody on the line, and you had Saquon basically waiting 5 yards. You're making it so obvious that you're going to run the football. There's no passing plays that you can really run out of that formation unless it's play action. And the thing is, we haven't run a play action pretty much all year to this point. So when you are making your offense one-dimensional by running the same plays out of the same formation every single drive, you're going to go 3 and out, and then on top of that, in 100-degree heat, your defense is going to be exhausted, having to basically sit down for 2 seconds, get up, go play for 5 minutes, sit down for 2 seconds, get up. Like,
Yeah.
you can't keep doing that to your defense and expecting to win. Like, that's like, that's the problem. Last week the defense showed up for all 4 quarters. They kept the offense hanging around that game in the first half. They were on the field a lot. The offense got down in the second half while the defense switched off the shutout. They let up only, I think, a touchdown to start. That was it. So defense was phenomenal last week. Offense showed up in the second half. This week, they both showed up in the first half. Neither of them showed up in the second half. So, honestly, you're kind of lucky that you built the lead you did, because if you went into that halftime, if you would have given up a touchdown to Tampa before half instead of a field goal, you're probably losing that game. So, it's the little things that add up throughout a game. That's why ultimately we won. We won by 6, but technically we won by 8. The safety was our way of ending.
The safety was basically a way of just not letting the football go back.
But a game against Tampa is usually close, or they usually years and years ago the games used to be kind of close, but recent games against Tampa have been messy. And we've been the ones on the losing end of things, so it's nice to be on the winning end of things. But but that's a game where you scored 31, but you only scored 7 in the second half.
And I think they said that they didn't. I'm forgetting the exact detail of it, but they said something along the lines of they either didn't get a passing first down in the second half, or they only got one pass. Sorry,
they didn't complete a pass at all. Jalen Hurts
didn't complete a pass.
That's great. Yep. We were 0 for 8 in the second half passing the ball, because here's the problem. Now, we threw, I think, 16, 18 times in the first half.
Yeah.
Why are you throwing only? Here's the problem with this too. This is showing you how bad the play calling was, when every time you turn around, it was 2nd and 12, 2nd and 9, 3rd and 15, 3rd and 13. I'm like, you are running the ball into a stacked box, going nowhere, because you're trying to force feed Saquon Barkley to try to get yards to have these long drives and then go down and score. The problem is, it's not going anywhere. If those plays are not going anywhere on second down, why are you continuing to run them? It's one thing that, they came out a half, and that drive was over in 30 seconds. You should have came out of half and taken about 4 or 5 minutes off that clock, and it should have been a touchdown. With how the offense was in the first half, you should have came out in the second half and kind of kept up that momentum, but you didn't. So you went 3 and out in 30 seconds. This is after Tampa kicked a 65-yard field goal at the half to get some momentum and get the crowd back into it. So you're already starting to see a problem there, and then you go 3 and out in 30 seconds. You give them a little more life. Then all of a sudden, bang, touchdown, and 2 minutes later, tons of life. Now they're only down by 11. We basically did everything we could to get reverse Los Angeles rammed this week. Thank God we didn't. But literally, honestly, if it wasn't for a couple, if it wasn't for a couple great defensive plays, like the big sack from Ojomo to make it 3rd and long to basically,
that was another one.
That basically ended the game, thank God. But but that was the one time they got pressure all game long. They got, I think they sacked Baker twice today, but it was once in the first quarter, and then it was once at the very end of the game. In between that, there was absolutely no pressure on Baker Mayfield. The one touchdown pass that he threw, not the first one, that was also horrific. That ball should have been picked off. Blankenship missed it, whiffed on it, trying to swat it away.
Yeah.
Akuba, where are you playing, bro? You're face guarding you're literally playing the wide receiver, when if you're that deep down the field, you should be playing the ball, not the wide receiver. Like, there was a busted play, and you could see the receiver is literally putting his hands up to catch the ball. Turn his head around and pick it. If he turns his head around, that's a pick. Like, it's like, Baker, his numbers at the end of the game look good, like statistically, but really he should have thrown about 3 interceptions in that game because Makubo didn't turn his head to the ball. So you get a TD there on a busted play that shouldn't have worked. But once again, pass rush didn't get there on that play. But the one play that pissed me off in this game was the Bucky Irving touchdown down the sideline that he threw at Jahad Campbell in coverage. Like, everyone's like, oh, Jahad Campbell got burnt. He didn't get burnt. Where's the pass rush? Baker Mayfield had 10 seconds in the pocket on that play. Where is the pass rush?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like when you have that, it doesn't matter who you have in coverage. You can have Darrelle Revis in coverage who'll get burnt. That's ridiculous. Like, you can't just, like, it's like you're rushing 4. And here's another thing too. They know that Jalen Carter's hurt. They know his shoulder, his arm, like his whole arm is bothering him. He can't generate any pressure. So if you know he can't generate pressure right now because he's playing with an injury, why are you still rushing 4? Because that basically means on every drive now, it basically means you're rushing 3. And you know what happens when you rush 3? You are never, ever, ever going to get to the quarterback rushing 3. So I don't understand. Like, that's why late in the game, when they did get pressure on Baker and that sack, it was a lot of blitzes late in that fourth quarter. But it got there, or it forced Baker to have to make a super accurate throw under duress, which he couldn't. Because that last drive, when they're driving down the field, we blitzed them on one play. Jalen Carter got his hand up to tip the ball on the blitz when Baker was falling away, and it altered the throw, and it was behind the tight end. He dropped it. That was a big play, but it got altered because you set pressure to help that defensive line out. Like, I know Vic Fangio doesn't like to blitz, but I think going forward, if Jalen Carter is not healthy enough to play, you will have to blitz a lot more. You will just have to, because if he can't get home, and Jordan Davis was non-existent today, but so that's another problem. I don't know what happened to Jordan Davis today because the Bucs offensive line is not great, and it's like, Tristan Wirfs is on the outside at tackle, but outside of Tristan Wirfs,
don't they have some injuries too? I think
that's another thing too. Their offensive line was injured. So where was Jordan Davis today? Where was Uchi today? Where was Zadarius Smith, who had a great game last week against probably a better offensive line? Where was Zadarius Smith? He was doing cardio all day. I don't understand. These guys had such a good week last week, and these guys aren't getting double teamed. These are one-on-one, matchups. You should be destroying them in. The Bucs do not have a good offensive line, so the fact that they couldn't get pressure, unless it wasn't pretty much not even a blitz, because even when they rushed 5 or 6 off a blitz, they almost didn't get there, like 80% of the time. There was only a couple times they did. They only really got through when they sent 7 or 8 guys after Baker. That's really the only times they got through. So, and I think the Ajomo one was actually the only time where I can't remember if we blitzed on that play or not, but that was the only time I remember that we rushed 4 or 5 and it actually got through. So that one ultimately won the game, but not for nothing too. When you look at defensively, now I love Quinton Mitchell. He had a great game today, but technique wise, he could have got about 6 penalties called on him today.
Yeah,
he was very handsy, and he's lucky the refs didn't throw a flag every drive on him because he got cooked, and he had to grab to save his life.
Yeah, there was the technique was a good word to use. I'm blanking on the word that I was grabbing for, but no pun intended. But I was I was watching and I was just thinking this just looks so not buttoned up at times. I don't know
undisciplined.
Thank you. Undisciplined.
Well, part of it is offensive consistency, right? Because if the defense is on the field for that long,
yeah, and that goes back. I mean, I mentioned this 2 weeks ago when I was making my comparisons to the 2014 teams that when Coach Kelly was here, because it's great to have the number 1 or number 2 offense, but and to be able to do things so hurriedly that you do all that with 25 minutes. But the flip side of that is you're leaving your defense on the field 35 minutes, and they typically do not prepare, for lack of a better word. That's not the word I'm really trying to think of, but typically they're not equipped to do that. But actually in times of possession today, the Bucks actually outdid the Eagles about 32-28. But and that's another example. I mean, 4 minutes isn't huge, but in a game where every second counts, that's an extended amount of time for your defense to be doing that, especially when it's one thing for your defense to be doing that when, like, at least in the case of what I mentioned before, you're continuing to stack points and you're giving them more and more of a cushion. But for a chunk of today's game, that wasn't the case, and especially in the second half. So for you to be on the field more and then not getting those points added back up when you're not, you're getting put behind the 8 ball twice the level.
Like didn't with the time of possession too? Didn't we have like 21 minutes of possession in the first half or something? Or it was something high like that.
Yeah. So it was definitely very slanted toward the first half. We also had twice as many penalty yards as the Bucks did, 83-40. We got fortunate that neither of our fumbles turned into like full on turnovers.
Yeah.
But again, we you talk about, excuse me, luckily we were much more efficient on third down than they were, which worked out obviously to our favor. And for all the conversation about the lack of creativity, we had, when it came time to actually make big plays, we actually employed some pretty good creativity, especially in the first half, which is why it made no sense to me. Well, I was like, did I just watch? I was like, I was actually having to rewind it. I was like, did I just watch a fake tush push? And then, so to have something like that, and then have such these like milk toast first and second down plays where Jalen basically, and I know Brandon is beyond over the screens. In terms of
even though they worked during the Packers game tonight,
we're not the Packers.
But here's the difference between us and the Packers, and this is where it is. It's like the Packers, the offense is creative and not stale. You can't run screens like when that's your only play that has a high percentage chance of working. Like when it's like there's such a thing as high percentage throws, right? In this league,
right?
Like the Packers, when they take those 5-6 yard out routes or slant routes or whatever, and they gain a few yards here and there, then it opens up the screen game as almost an extension of your running game. The problem is when you aren't running the ball well, and then also you're not passing the ball downfield at all, at all in that second half. So they know that the only thing that they should really watch out for at that point, they can sit back and just defend the screen or the swing pass. So that's why I don't like it. And the thing is, we rely on it too much to bail us out of trouble in big situations. That's why I don't, because like I can almost tell you when a screen, like I can't tell you when a screen, more often than not. Sometimes I can't tell you when a screen is coming for the Packers. I can almost tell you on every single drive when a screen is coming for Philly. And it's like that's the problem, is that the fans know it. The people
opposing team knows it. Everyone knows it.
Everyone knows it except for the Eagles for some reason, and I don't understand why. Like after the game today, right? We had Jalen Hurts saying, "Oh, it's an execution thing. We'll get better at it." But actually get better at it. Actually get better at it. You're not doing anything to get better at it. You played one half of football these last 2 weeks. You're lucky you didn't lose both games. You could be 2-2 right now. So, like, you're lucky to be 4-0. I mean, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, but you're lucky to be 4-0, honestly. So, it's like,
excuse me.
We'll take it, but I don't want to see this team turn into the 2023 Eagles, where they're winning games and then it falls apart in the last month and a half of the season, and then because they don't correct these problems early on. So because it's like, they're gonna have to play the Packers, they're gonna have to play the Lions. They play, I think, the NFC North this year. So you haven't played any of those teams yet. The Bears, I'm not worried about. The Bears or whatever, but you have to play the Packers. The Vikings, I'm not too worried about because I don't know what their quarterback situation really is at this point, and the Lions. But if you play this way against the Packers and Lions, you're going to get beat by 20. You will get beat by 20. You cannot play this way against that team, against those two kinds of teams. You just can't.
Do you guys want to do panic meter around the NFL?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do a quick panic meter check. Scoop, I'll start with you and the Chargers.
Chargers. Okay. Give me the parameters here. Like,
go like 1, like 10 is the hottest. Let's go 1 through 10. Like
1 through 10. 1 through 10 is like, and 10 is the hottest.
Yeah, 10 is like you're panicking.
I'd say 2.5.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. Yeah,
I was gonna say 3.
Yeah. I'm obviously, when you're starting the way that they had, you never want to have your first loss come, 1, against a rookie quarterback in his debut, 2, to a team that was in the position the Giants were in, and 3, in the manner in which they did. Now, that being said, we talked a lot the last couple of weeks, particularly about the defense that the Chargers had been putting down. The Chargers only gave up 21 points today. It's not like their defense got its tail handed to it.
Yeah.
The area where the team struggled was, unfortunately, Justin Herbert had, one of those games that Justin Herbert sometimes tends to have. He still kept it around, a little over half his completions, but he had 2 interceptions and only 1 touchdown, passer rating of 57. So when that happens, it's hard to beat anybody. Now, at this point, it's kind of just baked into the cake that this kind of game is going to happen with Justin Herbert. And it's one of the reasons why I have a little bit less of a glowing opinion of him than others do, between both that and the playoff stuff. But that being said, I still acknowledge he's a very, very talented quarterback and a very, more definitely, obviously, more often than not, a successful one. And that's why I don't think that. And also, I said this before. I think it was last episode, where when you have these rookie quarterbacks come in and there's a lot of hype, a big debut, the defenses haven't seen them before in the NFL. Sometimes they just get lucky in the beginning or for a little bit or whatever. And I tip my hat off to Jackson Dart, but the things that made the Giants beat the Chargers today, I honestly think are more just me tipping my hat to the Giants in a ways that I didn't expect. It's not really anything I look at and I say, wow, I think the Chargers are really, maybe really had me, in fool's gold here. The mistake, the things that cost them the 3 points today, that ended up being the difference in the game were things that we just know happen with the Chargers sometimes, but they've become less and less a part of their regular formula. So it's not that much of a concern to me.
Yeah, and you know what it is too. When I watch the Giants today, it's like like I was saying before, Dart had an okay rookie debut, not a great one, but an okay one, but it was enough to win. But it's also a thing where people don't realize this when you have rookie quarterbacks that are making their debut. Like we always say, oh yeah, it's a rookie quarterback. He's gonna struggle in his debut, whatever. And Dart had his struggles here and there today, but. Also, if you're a defense, you just don't know what to expect because there's no tape on the guy.
Right.
So when you have no tape on him, what are you supposed to be looking? There's nothing you can really look for because you're not facing the same quarterback you saw on tape the first 3 weeks. So, it's like so the tendencies are different. Dart's speed is different. The way he might process a game is different. Like going through his reads is quicker. So all those little things can throw a defense off, and he's more he's obviously is more decisive with the football than Russell Wilson. So at least at this point, so once teams get tape on him, we'll see what he really is.
Right.
But for these first few weeks, like even when we play them on October 9th, there's not gonna be a lot of tape on him. There's gonna be maybe a week or two worth of tape on him. It's not gonna be like
2 games.
Yeah. So it's not gonna be like a thing where you're gonna have a 2 months worth of tape on him. You have 2 games worth of tape. So it's just like it. You have to see what he is. Everybody's kind of fawning over him right now in Giants country about he won us a game. It's like well that's the New York Giants. I mean you'll take any kind of get even the quarterback is terrible, but like at the same token you can't get too excited because it's his first start. Yes, he did okay, did well enough to win. I get that, but like when there's no tape on a guy, he can kind of just play. And it's just when the Giants are 0-3, they have nothing to lose at this point. The only thing they would have to lose is God forbid Dart gets hurt, which today they lost their best receiver. So, and it looks like it's, unfortunately
it's an ACL.
Oh, so yeah, so he's done. So, it was okay enough to win, but what's going to happen going forward, we have no idea because. Yeah, you won a game against the Chargers that have no film on you, but are you going to win games going forward without your one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, and with a quarterback that's just he's starting to learn? I don't know, So it's going to be overall. No matter what happens this year for the Giants, we all said it. It's going to be a rough year. There's going to be growing pains with Dart. What we said whenever he started, we didn't think he was starting this early, but. We thought maybe by maybe week 8, 9, maybe halfway through the season if he was going to start. But I just hope that they keep him upright because today they did a decent job of that. But
he had to go into the concussion protocol before the end of the second half.
Well, he did, but I'm saying overall I think they're just as a precaution. But I don't think he really got hit too hard outside of
No, but when you already have lost neighbors, and when people had been concerned about your offensive line and putting a rookie quarterback behind it, it wasn't optimal to at least seemingly partially legitimize those fears before his first game was over.
Yeah, I think today. I think today for what the Giants O-line. Well, I should rephrase it. Today for what the Giants offensive, what we know they are, that wasn't the worst game ever, so. But
I feel like when you draft a quarterback 25th overall, your bar is not the worst ever.
Yeah,
that is true.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying it worked today, which is fine. But going forward, you're gonna face, I don't want to get too cocky about this, but when we play them, God forbid what we do to that offensive line and him in that game
on TNF, by the way. So,
yeah, like Zach Bond up the middle, Jihad Campbell up the middle.
As long as we get the pack. What we talked about earlier.
Like if we look at the Giants' schedule, remember they do have the hardest schedule in football. They do this year. So
I forgot about that. To be honest with you.
So they play us, they play Denver, then they play us again, then they play the Niners. Bears aren't great, but Bears have a lot of veterans. Or guys that can get to the quarterback. Packers they play now. Packers weren't great today, but Micah Parsons against that offensive line will probably kill them. The Lions, Aiden Hutchinson coming off the edge. Patriots are not great, but that's whatever. Commanders have a lot of veterans. Bobby Wagner's still there. Then they do play. I mean, the last 3 games are easier. Defensively, they play the Vikings, the Raiders, the Cowboys. But the Lions game, the Packers game, the Niners game, twice against us, so that's 5. And then you've got the Broncos. So 6 out of their remaining, 13 games? Is it 13 games? Yeah. 6 out of their remaining 13 games are against top defenses, or at least defenses that can get after it. So, the Chargers. I don't think the Chargers are as. Here's the panic meter thing. I'm not panicking on the Chargers yet. I'm at a 3 because of who they lost to. Otherwise, I'd be at a 1 still. But
yeah, that's where I'm at. It's just the only reason it wasn't a 1 or a 2 was because
it's who they lost to. Yeah. Like but at the same time, I don't think the defense is as good as we think it is, and I've said that for the last 3 weeks.
That's the case with a lot of the league at this point.
So that's kind of why between them kind of, not showing up that well today against a rookie quarterback. I mean, like I said, no tape, but still, you still got to make the plays, when you have to make them. They just could not do that, especially even with Neighbors out. So that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm at a 3 with the
okay. Buffalo.
You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
Nah, you know what? I'll say for Buffalo, they're 4-0, but I'll say the same because
that's where I have it. Yeah,
because I still think it's a 3, just because they still have no idea what they want to do offensively, and that's a problem. And for about 3 quarters, no, really, for 3.5 quarters, you were about to lose to the Saints. So, like, so. Like you want to talk about the Chargers losing to the Giants? I mean, yeah, they lost by 3, but I don't think but the Chargers are not the Bills. The Bills almost lost to the Saints. So you know what? I'll even tick it up by a half. I'll say 3.5 because the Saints are just as bad as the Giants are, but Buffalo is far better than the Chargers. So that's where I kind of have to give it a little bit of a bump up, but. Yeah, you're 4-0. Yeah, you won by, 11, 12 points. But the problem is just that the Bills are letting a lot of teams hang around against them so far throughout this 4-0 start. And today they let a really, really bad football team hang around for 3.5 quarters. So I don't, all hope is not lost. They're 4-0, obviously. But I just don't look at it, and I don't like Buffalo still has the same problems offensively every week, and defensively they're still kind of getting lit up even by a bad team. Giving up 19 points to a bad Saints team is not good. So it's Spencer Rattler at times actually looks like a competent quarterback. That's pretty bad. So. I think a 3.5 is where I'm at.
Scoop, where are you at here?
I just don't the amount of times I just heard Brandon say because of who they lost to, and they can't figure out who they are offensively, and they almost lost to the Saints. Okay, maybe I need to say this again. They almost lost to the Saints in Buffalo.
Yeah. Yep.
How is this not more of like a 7?
Well, I think the reason why is because I just think it was a trap game that every team has kind of thing. It felt that way the whole night. Or the whole day, I should say. No, to me it felt more it was just a trap game.
Yeah.
It just... But it was a trap... Sorry. It was a trap game that put on display everything we already are concerned about with Buffalo.
Yeah.
That is very true. No, that is very true. Yeah.
We saw some of the worst of Josh Allen's decision-making. We saw... Excuse me. Now, granted, we saw him come in and save the day. But again, one of the things we've criticized Buffalo for is putting him in a position where he has to be the guy that comes in to save the day every time.
Superman.
So, I'm sorry. I looked at this a lot more seriously for Buffalo. They made it to 4-0, and I'm good for them. Good for my brethren up in upstate New York. But they need to come out and really. Who do they got next week?
New England at home Sunday night.
Yeah, see, if I know it's a division game, but if they don't beat them by 20, there's a problem.
Well, okay, so that you basically just took the words right out of my mouth. I was basically going to say, if that's at home against a division rival, especially the Patriots, if it were a healthy Miami team, maybe I could give them a little more grace.
Yeah,
Miami is like their biggest competitor right now in the division, but no, if it's Drake May and that team that still is struggling to get offense right somehow, I'm sorry, I need you to kick them in the teeth. I cannot, and if we come back, if we're back here next Sunday night and we're talking about anything other than a convincing Bills win,
then we're not here early because it's a blowout. We have a problem.
Then I'm going up much further than a 7.
That's fair. All right, Scoop. Colts. Where is our panic meter?
Colts. So
the Jags are also right there in the division at 3-1. Not that it really matters, but they are right there. Go ahead, Scoop.
Yeah. So as far as the Colts are concerned, again, kind of similarly, we saw kind of what we would have expected more out of Daniel Jones today. Now that here again, I don't think this delegitimizes what he's done the first couple of weeks. I don't think that at all.
Yeah.
This is a Rams team. I mean, we all remember what happened between the Eagles and the Rams last week. This is a Rams team that they seem prepared to punch above their weight class, even if they're not as good as you. They're damn sure not going to roll over. And that doesn't surprise me at all with a coach like Sean McVay. Yep. But the Colts, they pretty much had a one-head running game with Jonathan Taylor. They didn't get anything out of Doolin or Warren or even Jones himself. Whereas the Rams had both Williams and Corum making things happen. Their receiving game, for the most part was decent. They were kind of spreading it around a little bit. Pittman in particular, though, half of his 10 targets didn't come in. So not something that you really like to see there. Those are a couple of the things that I saw. I'm somewhere in between where I was with the Chargers and the Bills with the Colts, because again, this is a team that I think that obviously the Rams are a good team in their own right. But this isn't the type of loss where I look at and it really makes me delegitimize, the success I've seen them have already.
Yeah.
But I need to see how they come back from that. But for right now, put me down for maybe about a 4.5.
I'm gonna go like a 2. I'll go like a 2.5. Brandon, the biggest thing I kind of took away was I'm scared about that defense, and I don't think I'm like, because I was thinking about it, like, am I over analyzing the defense? I don't think I am. I think it's a legitimate concern.
Yeah. See, I mean, but like Puka Nacua is going to have his way with basically every defense in the NFL because nobody seems to know how to stop him. So like that's kind of like where I give him a little bit of a pass for that because Puka Nacua is almost like invincible just in this league right now. But what I will try to say about it is that what did I say last week? If you can keep Jonathan Taylor at bay, not just shut him down, but if you can keep him at bay at least, you have a great chance of winning that game against the Colts, regardless of what Daniel Jones does. And they kept him at bay just enough to make Daniel Jones throw a bit more than he probably would like to, and he threw 2 interceptions, including the game ender. So I think that's pretty much the key. If you're going to beat the Colts, it's easier said than done, but you have to keep Jonathan Taylor at bay. If you can excuse me, like under 100 yards, you have a good chance of winning the game. And I mean, not for nothing, this is the same Colts team that probably should have lost against the Broncos, but with the penalty, it didn't happen. In that game. So, we're looking at pretty much a 2-2 team, not a 3-1 team. And so for me, I think I'm probably more where Scoop is. I'm at a 4 just because they also in this game too. I mean, they had, in that first half, I mean, they played well enough defensively. I mean, it wasn't great, but they played well enough defensively. But in the second half, they just got completely burned. We want to talk about making no adjustments. I mean, they really didn't make any adjustments to kind of down the stretch. So that's kind of killing me a little bit. And then obviously, the what was the backbreaker besides the Daniel Jones pick at the end. It was literally right before that. First play, 88-yard touchdown to Atwell. That just can't happen defensively. You had nobody cover. You had nobody. You basically had no safety help over the top. So you just put all your corners on an island more or less, and let them get burnt. And that's what happened. Tutu Atwell absolutely burnt them. So I look at it as like a 4 also, just because I don't trust that defense enough. And I mean, remember they gave up 20. They also gave up 28 points. I think it was 28 points to a struggling Broncos offense. So I don't think, once again, it's another team that, their record's good, but I don't think that they're, at least defensively, it's another team defensively that I don't think they're as good as people think they are. And that's why I'm kind of at a 4. Now, if they get torched next week, then I'm going to be probably at like a 6. Because next week, they play the Raiders, so they shouldn't get burnt. But, Geno Smith, today that offense, Ashton Jeanty for the Raiders looked good.
Chip Kelly finally did some good in the NFL. Finally got his running back going.
Yeah. So honestly, if they can't stop Jeanty from running the ball, and if Geno kind of gets to a little bit of a rhythm, that could be a kind of a quote unquote trap game for the Colts. So if you come out and you don't look good in that game, then I'm at about a 6. So right now, I think 4 is probably fine.
All right, finish this up with the Ravens, Brandon. Very high because they got a hamstring injury for Lamar Jackson that we're still waiting on.
Yeah. Honestly, you should have came into this game pissed that you lost last week, and you should have came out and blew out the Chiefs, who have not been good at any point this season. And instead, they blew you out. So
roasted.
Yeah, to me, that's a 9. That's a 9. I mean, the only reason I'm not saying 10 is because it's only the first 4 weeks. But if this was week 6 and they're 2-4, it'd be a 10. But because it's a 1-3 start, I'm at a 9. That defense sucks. That offense can't get in rhythm to save their life.
Especially if Lamar's out. If Lamar's out for an extended period, it's done.
Their season's over. So if it's serious like that Mike Evans hamstring is, that he can miss a month. If he misses a month, they're going to be at the best 2-7. That's their season's done at that point. So I just can't see. I want to believe that thing, and then we all know that they're better than this. But they've played 4 terrible weeks of football on just both sides of the ball. I mean, you get the Derrick Henry fumbles, which don't help. And honestly, if he doesn't fumble, if you take 2 of those fumbles away, then they're sitting at probably 3-1 today. So that's a big difference. But the problem is their defense. You gave up, what was that? 37 point? Was it 37 to the Chiefs?
Yeah, 37 in total.
You gave up 37 points to a Chiefs offense that is god awful and sucks. That is terrible. And this is what I've said. This is why I hate when everybody brings up, and even we did it in the offseason. We're like, oh yeah, but we said this. On paper, their defense should be top 5. But every year, what's the one problem they have? Out of anything else? Defense. Their defense sucks. It gives up 30, 40 points at will every single week. I'm tired of hearing about how good it is, because it's not. It's not a good defense. Yeah. So I'm at a 9. And honestly, if this was a little bit, if this was 2 weeks from now, I'd be at a 10. So, or not even an 11. I'd be off the scale.
You dial it up to an 11, yeah.
Because honestly, the only thing that's one reason why it's at a 9. The only other reason why it's not even higher as a 10 or off the scale is because you look at that division. it's still anybody's game because the Bengals are terrible, the Browns are terrible. So you still have a chance.
The Steelers are so.
The Steelers are so. So you still have a chance to at least either win the division. You still have a chance for the division. It's still early. We're 2 games behind, and you still and honestly, I mean, if you right the ship even a little bit, you should make a wild card. So, but the problem is for the Ravens, if you end up being a wild card or less, then here's another issue. At some point, just like the Steelers in that division, your head coach has to, I'm not saying there's any better options, but at some point, you have to have a serious conversation about your head coach because they can't get it done when it matters. So it's like, Harbaugh every year can't get it done. Mike Tomlin hasn't got it done. Both of them have not got it done in over 10 years. 10. And in the Steelers case, it's 15. So, it's been long enough to where we can stop calling these guys, stop ranking them among the best coaches in the NFL. Because everybody keeps saying, Mike Tomlin, Hall of Famer, John Harbaugh, Hall of Famer. Yeah, they have the ring, and they have a lot of wins. Like their record is great. When you go, like what Scoop says, what have you done for me lately? What have those coaches done in the last 10, 15 years? They've done nothing. And their philosophies don't change. So that's another problem. They're not willing to adapt with the times. The Steelers are so hell-bent on doing things Mike Tomlin's way, and Mike Tomlin just doesn't want to adjust to anything, and Harbaugh's pretty much the same.
Brandon, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So hang on a second. Sorry, feedback from my glasses. So the Steelers, last 15 years, they're largely, not entirely, but largely the same leadership. Haven't won it in 15 years. Consistently have a winning record, but not a Super Bowl, not a championship.
Roughly 500.
Yeah, not consistently winning seasons, but not actually winning like the big thing. Very obsessed with their culture. Who does that sound like?
At playing that kind of football? Oh, Dallas Cowboys.
Not where I was going.
It kind of does.
Think another sport.
What, okay. The Yankees?
That's where I was going.
Yeah, but is it? I
mean, for a team, for a historic franchise that's been all about winning rings for the longest time, and now it's like, look at how many winning seasons we've had, and now
that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then they're priding themselves on this culture and this stability and one thing or another. Okay, but the fans are looking for stable success, not stable mediocrity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's true because it's that every year kind of we're the Yankees mentality. We'll at least be in the sorry, I almost burped. I don't know what came out of me there. I was trying to yawn, but it came out as a burp, so it was like half and half. But
are you an Eagle?
Possibly. I'll never. I mean, listen. Somewhere along the way could have got a mixed DNA there. But yeah. But now I kind of see that point. So
yeah.
I see that first. Honestly, you should have said like another sport off the bat. Then I probably would have said Yankees. Like I was thinking football.
I thought I did. I messed up there. But,
yeah, no worries.
But the thing is, I do see it that way too because when you think about it, it's the whole we're the Yankees mentality. But with the Steelers, it's like, oh yeah, we're the Steelers mentality. All these rings, all these championships. Tough football. Like it's like but that they're just like the Yankees. Nothing changes and they're fine with kind of being who they were.
Yeah.
The Steelers are being who they were too.
Well, that's another thing is like they're so wrapped up in their history that they're sometimes a little disillusioned from the fact that that, and people hate when I use this phrase, but the game has developed in a way that I think sometimes the Yankees. I think sometimes fans think that they're super analytical and almost trying to be too far ahead of the times. I see the problem is exactly the opposite way. I think that they're trying to implement things perhaps analytically, but I think they don't know how to do it. And if you don't know how to do it, then it doesn't matter what you're using. I don't care what numbers you're using if you don't know how to use them. Anyway,
so what do you think? What do you think about the Ravens, Coop? Are you high up on the scale?
I was trying to circle back to that, and I got derailed. I mean, so Brandon knows this. 3 days ago, we did a show, and we were ranking our top quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah,
and one of us ranked number 1, Mr. Lamar Jackson, and that was me. So for this loss to now come now, loss as in game to the Chiefs, but loss also moreover as in potentially losing Lamar Jackson. I don't care if you lose Lamar for 1 week or 2 weeks. You are not replacing this guy even 60%.
Yeah.
Cooper Rush is not going to get it done.
No.
They're already, at their best already, 98% of the quarterbacks in the league are barely couldn't touch what Lamar Jackson is. And now you're looking for someone to do that potentially for not just 1 game, but potentially multiple games. I think that is really a damning situation. I think that you match that with Derrick Henry, who's been gotten more turnovers than your local family bakery, and I'm just not understanding at this point where. And again, like you talk about with Brandon, with the issues on defense, like off of names, this should be a number 1 roster, but the names are not putting forth the production that gave them the names in the first place, and so I'm not interested in your branding that can sell jerseys. Maybe I can't remember what his name is, Bisciotti or whatever his name is, up in the ownership. Maybe he's interested in that. I'm not. And the fact that you've got stars who were great a couple years ago just doesn't interest me, and it's not going to help you win games in 2025, especially if you're now facing now having Cooper Rush for a couple games. And in fact, this kind of makes it kind of interesting now. We started the conversation like this in the very beginning of the show. If he's out for an extended period of time, do the Ravens try and go and get a Russell Wilson from the Giants? Because you talk about an offense rather that tries to utilize. And again, I'm not saying Russ is anywhere near the mobile guy that he once was, but at least a similar type of offense to what Russ was best in Seattle. Yeah. Do you at least look into giving that a shot? Because I don't know how good Cooper Rush is going to be, but if I'm at least giving myself a chance, if I want to at least give myself a chance, especially if they see it like you did with, okay, we've got a Burrow-less Cincinnati Bengals team. We've got, a Steelers team that seems to not really know what they are. We've got the Browns, which everything that you need to know is in their name. So with all 3 of those things being true, this may be the one team that has the need, the ability to pull it off, and the potential value or place for Russ to make an impact, and the offense for him to actually do it. So that would be my one thing that I would throw in there, just off the rip, real quick.
Yeah, we'll definitely see what happens once we get a more definitive update on Lamar's injury.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brandon.
If it wasn't clear, it's a 10 for me.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
I think anything less than a 9, you don't know what you're talking about. But and also with the Derrick Henry thing, it's like, this is the first time where he's actually there, where he looks every bit of 31 at this point. Like,
quite honestly, he looks older than that to me. But go on.
Like all the running backs, they always say that wall is at 30. Where it's like, that's kind of, or even in their late 20s, like 29, 28 and a half, whatever it is. Like, but he's 31, and it's like, there's a lot of mileage on him over the years. He's a Hall of Fame running back. There's a lot of mileage on him. And He's got 3 fumbles already this year.
Yep.
And outside of the one big game week 1 against the Bills where he had the late fumble, but outside of the one big game, he's had pretty much worse numbers than Saquon.
And that's with Lamar there to kind of, save the day. Now try and do that when the ball's in his hands more because the quarterback is not Lamar, but it's Cooper Rush.
Yeah.
You think they're going to go to the running game less without Lamar?
It's like you're gonna put Derrick Henry through an absolute pounding every week now. Now he's gonna get 30 touches pretty much a game, if not more. So
presumably.
So now there's that mileage starting to pile up on him. But do you know how many more fumbles that's gonna create for him?
That's the point that I was making. Like his ball security is not going to get better by feeding it to him 10 more times a game.
Or hell, even more than that, probably 15 plus more. Given how listen, Cooper, is not a terrible. They don't. It's not a terrible back.
You can do a lot worse at backup quarterback than Cooper Rush, but at the same time, a lot of teams don't have the fall off from starter to backup
like that.
Whereas from going from Lamar to Cooper Rush, half the teams in the NFL, their starter could be the backup, and it would still be a fall off.
Yeah, it's just scary when you think about. And even today, and this is also what's concerning about Derrick Henry that we didn't see in the past. Or hell, it might be something that Baltimore knows that we don't. That they know he's 31 because if you look at the amount of carries each week, his high in that game in Buffalo, they had 4 weeks. The first game was his highest amount of carries. It was only 18 carries. It wasn't a lot of carries. And then in week 2 against Cleveland, it was 11. But he only had 23 yards against that defense. And then last week against the Lions, it was 12, only for 50 yards and a 28-yard TD. So half his yards came off of just one run. And then he had that costly fumble late. And now this week, he only had 8 carries. But, here's the problem. The Ravens are now stuck in a situation where you can't trust Derrick Henry to be the bell cow anymore right now. We can't trust him to be the bell cow because that's not what he needs to be at this point. But you also now need to lean on him because you don't know if you're going to have Lamar Jackson, and then the pass offense, just by extension, was not great today. So it's like, what do you do if you're the Ravens going forward? Because now you kind of can't win either way. And that's why we're saying with Lamar it hurts. But now you can't win either way because Lamar is not just an MVP quarterback, not just your starter, but he's also your passing threat because he's the one, obviously, he can make every throw in the book. He's also part of your running game. So now when you take away a dual threat quarterback who's one of the greatest we've ever seen next to Michael Vick, and hell,
Vick and Steve Young.
Yes, and honestly, with what Lamar's doing at this point, he's better than Vick at the very least.
Yeah.
He's what Michael Vick should have been with his talent.
Yeah.
But with Lamar, so when you take that much of your passing and running attack away, so literally, it's not just taking half your offense away between him and Derrick Henry. You're taking 75% of your offense away. So it's not going to work. Force feeding Derrick Henry with all these problems that he has this year on the field, and then you cannot ask Cooper Rush to throw 30 times a game. So honestly, if he is out for more than 2 weeks, I think their season's over.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I think it's fair. Go ahead, Scoop. I think it's totally fair.
Well, yeah, no, I was going to say, I honestly don't even know if he needs to be out for more than 2 weeks for me to get to that point. I mean, if they had, a 3-1 record now, or even a 2-2 record now, maybe. This is a 1-3 record. I know, and I know that their division is not good, at least as of right now. But they still got other good teams in the AFC. That if they don't win the division, they got to outdo some of these other teams. And as much of as they've kind of sputtered coming out the gate, I don't think Denver is going to be bad forever. I don't think that. Excuse me. I don't think that some of the other teams whether it's Kansas City or LA, whichever one, I don't think, that I think both of those guys are going to be gunning eventually for the AFC West. And I don't think that the AFC South, I don't know exactly who it's going to be, but I think there's going to be at least one team out of there that's going to be formidable outside of whoever wins the division. I don't know who it's going to be, but there's still too much talent there outside of Tennessee. And so just knowing all these things, I am just struggling with sort of I'm just, and again, this is an emphasis on really what he means to the offense and the team in general. But, I think it's I understand the 2 weeks, the more than 2 weeks thing. But for me, maybe I'm just, maybe it's just because of the way that I see Lamar and the way I see their current team. But because of the poor record they've already built up, to me, I think that they need him back sooner than 3 games from now.
And you know what really worries me in terms of the AFC? We went into the season saying, "Oh, the AFC is going to be a dogfight," because here comes the Broncos, here comes the Chargers on paper, and now they're 3-1. And before Burrow got hurt, it was like, "Oh yeah, Burrow's still there. Maybe they can pull some magic out of him and actually do better what they did last year, just missing the playoffs." Then you've got obviously Allen, and you've got Jackson, and you've got, when the Chiefs aren't what the Chiefs used to be, so like, oh, maybe there's a changing of the guard to where it flips to either the Ravens or the Bills now kind of taking over the AFC. But now, in 4 weeks, when you look at it, I don't think there's anybody, and hell, even with the Bills, with all their concerns, the AFC is not particularly strong at this point. Like, this feels like the one year where both conferences are just wide open. We're just wide open. Like, we usually say like the NFC is like it's filling everybody else in the NFC, and that's kind of still true right now. But in the AFC now, it's no longer the big 4 this season. It's now like it feels like it's the Bills and then everybody else. So, maybe the Chargers, maybe, but I don't trust Justin Herbert in big games, so I think that's a step down.
Yep.
And then, who's gonna step up? Jake Browning and the Bengals now? No. The Chiefs, I still don't think are any good at 2-2. They're lucky to be 2-2. They should be 0-4, or at the very best 1-3. You've got the Broncos, who they're still middling. I mean, they were middling at the early part of last year too, but they're still middling. I don't know how much I really trust them to make a run at Buffalo. And honestly, and this is what the NFL and Fox, obviously, after today, they posted the updated, the 2 unbeaten teams. And there's only 2 left, so those 2 are Philly and it's Buffalo. Honestly, through 4 weeks, that is looking like your Super Bowl matchup.
Yeah.
Through 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, with how both those 4-0 teams are playing right now, that might be if they're to play tomorrow, that'd be a very ugly game to me. So, I
still agree with you. I still agree that they have pretty much I won't say cemented themselves, but they've definitely taken an early lead against their other conferences.
Yeah, that's why I said through 4 weeks, like that's what it's looking like. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's do the Titans. This is as awful as it can get. So your quarterback comes out and just says, "Hey, we're getting better every week in practice, but we're ass." He just straight up said, "We're ass. We're horrible."
Yeah.
He just straight up said that. Here's Brian Callahan getting upset at a reporter today. Enjoy.
Do you think this is a resilient and relentless football team?
I know what you're doing there, Paul. I know what you're doing. And I'm not going to answer that right now.
Well, I mean, those are the themes that you've tried to catch. Yeah. Football team, you're 20-some games in.
Yeah. I'm just compose myself here before I say something I regret. But, yes, I think this team is resilient. I think it is relentless. We haven't played good enough football, and I think those are 2 very distinct, different things. We have to execute at a better level. We have to coach better. That's really all I can say.
Brandon, that's a disgusting answer.
It's
for an 0-4 football team.
The worst part, like, I mean, there's several bad parts to that, but him trying to say that the reporter is rage baiting him, for lack of a better
essentially
term,
saying he's rage baiting him.
That the reporter is trying to basically rage bait him and get him to, like, to kind of goad him into a bad answer. But it's like he's asking you a very basic question, like, do you think your team is resilient? Like, it's like when you're 0-4, it's like,
that's a fair question.
It's a fair question. And the thing is, like, your answer as a coach should be, well, we're not playing good football right now, but I believe we can turn it. Give the media answer. Don't sit there and bash the reporter for asking a very fair question to a garbage football team and a garbage head coach. Don't do that, because you're sitting there taking out your. And that's another thing too. That's what kind of shows the character of your head coach. It's not just the fact that he thought it was a dumb question when it was a fair question, but it shows the character of your head coach about how much of an awful human being he probably is, and how much of just an awful coach and just football personality that he is. Because you're taking your frustrations from being a bad football team out on a reporter that's just trying to do their job. What does that say about you? It says you're garbage. It says your team's garbage, and it says you're garbage by extension. So
the biggest thing is Cam Ward comes out there and goes, "Hey, we're just playing like ass." Like, straight up,
not wrong. Like,
he's not wrong at all. And then he's taking accountability, and then the head coach goes out and does that.
It's not like Cam Ward is saying, we're ass, and it's like, this guy's bad, the defense is bad.
We're all struggling. We're all struggling, especially me. Especially me.
Like, it's like, he's taking accountability, but also saying, yeah, we know we suck. Like, that's the answer I love to hear from a team that's 0-4. Like, he knows what the problems are. He's not going to sugarcoat it, but he's also not going to throw anybody under the bus, because that's also still being a professional. So it's like, those are the answers sometimes when the Yankees struggle. That's the answers I want them to give. But it's the Yankees, they won't do that. But
really quick, I'll pull up Cam Ward's answer because I just got it.
Yeah, do that.
I mean, we keeping a buck right now. We ass, so we 0-4. We have this one. We got nothing to lose. We dropped a quarter of our games, and we've yet to do anything. So we have to lock in. Especially myself on the offensive line, from the defensive line, from the special teams to all three faces. We have to play together. We have not played together this year yet, and that's just something that we want to preach about it every day. Every day we got to do better, and we're doing that, but it has to show up on Sundays. It hasn't showed up yet, but it got to show up next week.
That's accountability.
Yeah, and what's really, like, what stinks about this whole situation for Cam Ward? He's getting the residue of this is the residual effect of everything that's happened in Tennessee since they fired Vrabel, got rid of AJ Brown. Didn't pay Derrick Henry, which technically I don't blame them, but still. But this is what happens when you blew up a franchise that was a playoff team, pretty much, for a long time under Vrabel, and you've gotten progressively worse since that point, which is, I don't know how it's possible, but you have, because some years under Vrabel it wasn't pretty, but they got the job done. But you go from having a coach that cared about the franchise, cared about his players, and cared about the direction in which they were going and the culture. You fire him for no good reason, and then you get rid of AJ Brown. You ship him to Philly. Thank you. But so you give him to us, okay? But then everything just was like a domino effect once they basically, from that point of firing Vrabel around that time, everything has just been just like a house of cards, just going up smoke. And then you get to now Brian Callahan. Now, this isn't the first time. This is every week now. He's getting bad answers to the press. And last year, early in the year, he basically called Will Levis trash during a presser in the first month of the season. He did I think, for like 2 straight weeks. So I get that. I get that you're mad at your players, but these are all things. Just like we talked about Antonio Pierce last year with the whole business decision rant that he went on, the whole that quote and all that stuff. I don't care who you are, GM, owner, head coach. Because even Jerry Jones makes an ass out of himself when he says, "Oh yeah, this team sucks and we're not doing our job, and these players got to be better." So but these are things you handle in house. If you care about your culture and your players and the integrity of the game and all these things that go into it before you even play a football game on Sundays. You have to handle these things in-house. You have to talk about it with the front office. You have to talk about it with your players. Hell, even call a team meeting together. Not a players only. That's a death sentence. But call a team meeting and sit there and say, hey, we've got things we got to work on. Because you know what that does? When you come out and excuse my language, when you come out and act like an asshole to the media in a press conference, you know what that says? That says a lot about not only how you treat the media, that's how you look at and treat your own players. And you don't think that they respond to that? You don't think they respond to that? So honestly, the whole Brian Callahan era, and I know it's not all on him. It's also on the GM and the ownership and how bad they are. But just from Brian Callahan on down. Trash coach, trash human being, trash team, and that's it. Like,
yeah.
Done.
I sorry, I was quickly looking up what Brian Callahan said on Will Levis's fumble versus the Jets. Here's what he said. This was a year ago.
I was upset. It was dumb. It was the same exact thing he did last week, and he cost us points in the red zone. And that is what it is. He's a grown up and he knows better. And so, I was really irritated that he cost us 3 points in a game that we probably needed it. So, I was upset. It was.
Oh my god,
that was worse than I remembered.
Yeah, honestly, I remember that he threw Will Levis on the bus. I didn't remember it being that bad. Oh my god,
Scoop, do you have anything to add on the dumpster fire that is Nashville, Tennessee right now? I know you talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but.
I've talked about it several times, both on this show and on WTS. But I mean, if you were going back to, I don't even remember. Was this part of the, the 1 to 10? How concerned are you?
No, it's a 20. This is a
it's
fire.
100. It's 100. No, it's infinite. The bar does not exist.
See, my answer would have been 1 because it's exactly what I expect from this team.
Yeah.
No, I'd be concerned if I actually had reasons to have expectations for them. But it's just it's abysmal. Again, Mike Vrabel, Ryan Tannehill. Excuse me, sorry. We could go on. We talked about, AJ Brown, even for a period of time, Julio Jones, just on and on and on. I'll say it again, you had a number 1 seed team that was the final death blow to the Tom Brady Patriots.
Yep.
How do you get from there to here? Because
in less than 10 years.
Screw it, I think it was less than 5. And again, but what I will say is, here, let me move my mic. What I will say is, much respect to Cam Ward. I wasn't a huge Cam Ward fan coming out of college. Nothing against him. I thought that some people liked him more than I did. Is what I meant to say. But with answers like that, with accountability like that, and keeping it straight, which I really wish more coaches and players did, not to the extent of Brian Callahan, who apparently is trying to be the NFL's version of Bobby Valentine. But I still think that I think it reflects well on him. I think that he is doing a good job of sort of falling on it for himself and his team, he's not trying to sugarcoat it, like whatever with the hell we saw Aaron Boone do with Anthony Volpe for months, kind of gaslighting us into not believing that we were seeing something as bad as we were seeing. But he's done everything. So suffice it to say, he's done everything about as well as you could have asked off the field. And I think that the Titans, if they've done anything right over the last 5 years, it seems to me that they've gotten it right, at least in terms of the person at quarterback. Whether they have the player at quarterback remains to be seen, but at least in terms of the person, as they say, that being the almost more than half the quarterback job, it does seem that they've gotten that right. So kudos to them for that, even though they kind of maybe fell into it as opposed to picking him.
Yeah. It's just stupid. What's worse, Jerry Jones or Brian Callahan right now? Are they both equal?
Oh my god!
I was trying to look at what Jerry Jones said today. He said I believe Dak is indispensable, but Micah isn't. Like what? Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Scoop.
No, it's all right. To me, it's pretty easy between those two, and I'm going to say Jerry Jones, and I'm going to say it's pretty easy because of this. Brian Callahan, if he gets that bad, can get moved out. Jerry Jones has nobody who can oust him when he gets to be as bad as he, because if he could, I guarantee it would have happened years ago. Like the power and ego is a dangerous combination, as we all know. And so, with Brian Callahan, now again, if he isn't getting checked by the GM or by the owner or whatever, and they just let him stay in there, then, that is what it is. But that no longer is on, that is on the organization at that point. It's not just on Callahan at that point. Because, someone else is obviously setting up those guardrails. Jerry Jones is setting up his own guardrails, which is, I've never seen or heard of a business that is run that way that didn't end in disaster. The only thing about this one is that the only one who determines when the disaster actually ends is Jerry.
Yeah. So people are actually saying this Cowboy. Just a quick social media check. People are saying this Cowboys-Packers game was a game of the year contender.
What the hell game were they watching?
Yeah. See, here's the thing. Here's what's tough about saying that. If you're a casual fan, you're gonna say that. But first of all, if it's game of the year, it has to end in a win for somebody.
They can't end in a tie.
And not just that, but it like I was saying in Scoop, I was telling Rob about this as we were watching the game late in the fourth quarter, and I was saying this: game of the year does not mean all offense, no defense. Like remember the Chiefs-Rams game in 2019, I believe it was, or 18.
It was all defense. It was all defense,
but
actually.
They scored a ton of points, but it was a lot of defense, too.
Pretty much all of it, honestly.
That's pretty much the game of the century right there. But that was the game of the year for that year. Or, when you have a good, a tightly contested 35-31 game, and it's a game with a pick six or a fumble recovery. There's still defense being played. There was not a lick of defense on this football field tonight. There was. So for a casual fan, you can call it game of the year, but if you know football, it's not even close.
It wasn't good.
Games of the year, or any games of the year that we can compile, the top
there we go
5. None of them end in a tie, and none of them have defense as bad as what we just watched. So, and you know what's funny? So what were they saying? Game of the year, watching that Giants-Cowboys game with no defense being played there too? Because
okay, wait. Do you guys think Ravens-Bills Week 1 is game of the year material?
Yeah.
I still thought it was.
Yeah, that one I think so, and also why? Because unlike at least the Cowboys in this case, at least the Ravens and Bills will be there come playoff time. So it's and the thing is when you got two of those heavyweights, and the thing is it wasn't just that it was a good game overall, high scoring, but the game changed on a forced fumble. It wasn't like it was just nonstop defense. Getting blown up every drive like it was a basketball game going back and forth. That's the only reason why this game was high scoring, because there was no defense being played. None. So, at least Bills Ravens had a twist in it, or it had that big moment defensively. This game didn't have a single defensive moment in it. So, it can't be game of the year. There's no defense being played. You just can't. Rob, did you go silent?
Yeah, I was going to say, what just happened there?
Oh, no. Is it that time of the night that we're getting late? So now, luckily we're still on. We can fill the dead air. But, I was confused for a second.
You look so scared.
I don't hear you, dude.
It's like a Charlie Chaplin film in here.
Wow. Oh,
good.
man.
I'm good. Yay. Am I good?
Yeah.
There we go. It was so this thing bugged out again. Jesus. Lol. Okay, so we were going to talk special teams today. We'll save it for tomorrow. Scoop, go ahead and give us your MLB wildcard preview. And the Mets did make it in.
No. No, the final teams to make it, the Cincinnati Reds were the last team out of the National League. And the most of the other spots had been pretty well solidified. Obviously, the AL East we were still waiting on. That did ultimately go, as a lot of people did expect, that did ultimately go to the Blue Jays, which requiring a bunch of their starters. Great way to think that the team that let you use their minor league stadium because yours turned into rubble. But that's neither here nor there.
Your roof turned into rubble is what happened.
Yeah, that. Anyway, so the matchups as of right now, not as of right now, the matchups that are going to happen for the first round, we've got Tigers at Guardians, we've got Red Sox at Yankees, we've got Reds at Dodgers, and we've got Padres at Cubs. The other, what I will say, probably one of the more interesting things that happened over the sort of weekend as these matchups were still being finalized that I found entertaining as all get out. And even though it pertained to a team that ultimately got eliminated, was in the game between the Texas Rangers and the Cleveland Guardians. There was a pitcher named Robert Garcia who threw a pitch and hit a Cleveland batter to score a walk-off run.
Yep.
In scoring that walk-off run, it eliminated the Houston Astros for the first time since 2016. So the fact that the Astros got eliminated by a walk-off hit by pitch, that it gave they weren't even playing it, and that's how they didn't make a playoff for the first time in 9 years. As a Yankees fan, I am sorry. That is freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
It's also even better for us Mariners fans. I'll tell you what.
But you know what it is though, and I'm going to quote the one of the best voices in baseball, or former best voices in baseball. That's baseball, Susan.
Yeah.
But I love that. See, the MLB every year, we always think that it won't come down to game 162. It always does.
It does.
Always does.
I'm glad you mentioned game 162 because I also want to mention this cool stat. Rafi Devers, because he played for all, not only all 162 games, but because he played in a one day for both the Red Sox and the Giants when he was traded, he is the first player in over a decade to play in 163 games in one season.
Wow.
Get some overtime pay.
For real. It's just that was just, I don't know, a couple cool facts that I saw there. But yeah, in terms of getting back to the actual the preview of things, Red Sox, Yankees, the Yankees obviously had some struggles with Boston earlier in the season. I do believe the Yankees can win that series. As of right now, I have picked them to win that series, but again, we've seen what happens with this team. I think that ultimately series usually come down to who has the better roster. And I think that in different facets of the game, in terms of matching up, I think the Yankees do. Tigers, Guardians, I very much believe the Guardians win this series. The Tigers and the Guardians have been going in inverse directions for a period of time. Yeah. The Tigers almost looked like they weren't going to make the playoffs at all. So I believe the Guardians win that one advance there. Reds, Dodgers. The Reds are a great story. I'm really happy for them. I love their manager, Terry Francona. I consider him the greatest manager of our era. But I just don't know if that's a roster with enough experience to take down a behemoth like the Dodgers, even though they're not quite what they have been in past years. The Padres and the Cubs. This one could go either way for me. This was probably the hardest one to pick.
Yeah.
I've seen the Padres get in their own way too many times. So based on not only that, but also I just trust the leadership more of the veterans and Craig Counsell, et cetera, in Chicago. So pretty much on that, I wouldn't be surprised if that one is the one that goes like that ends up being the closest. But yeah,
that one should go 3.
Yeah.
That I do believe that one goes 3. We might honestly, if that goes 3 and game 3 goes extras, that wouldn't surprise me at all. And I thank God we won't have to deal with the Manfred man for that one. So yeah, I don't typically I don't go out of my way to pick the higher the higher seed, quote unquote, for all those games, but it just happened to work out that way. I do believe the Guardians, Dodgers, Yankees, and Cubs, respectively, I do believe will win those series. And then that sets up a lot of interesting matchups when those teams go on to face the Mariners, Phillies, Blue Jays, and Brewers.
Yeah. All right, Brandon, what is your thoughts on these matchups here?
Yeah, I'm kind of in lockstep with Scoop. I think the Guardians are red hot. And I mean that could be interesting, but I mean the Tigers just collapsing, the historic collapse. I think that's just it's one thing to lose a division, when you're up by a couple games or whatever it is, and then then this series can kind of be more compelling. But the Tigers didn't just blow that division; they fell off the face of the earth times 10.
This was one of the worst fall-offs in modern baseball history.
Yeah,
it makes the 2011 Red Sox that got Tito fired look like a bad slump in the middle of April.
Yeah, and and honestly, the Tigers are. I mean, listen, they're popping bottle that. That was one thing too. And this is where I kind of I'm a little bit I'm a little bit kind of like an old man, shaking his fist at a cloud, or get up and on. Where the Tigers are popping bottles because they made the postseason.
I hate when teams do that. Pop the bottle when you win a World Series.
But here's the thing too. It's one thing if it's a team that's been fighting for so long to get there, and the Tigers they haven't been good for a while, so they did fight to get in. But you backdoor your way in so horrifically bad.
Sorry, no. All I was going to say is, and now you have to go and face the team. Your
just beat you for it.
Is to go and face the team that you just pissed away the division lead to.
How poetic.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, even when the Yankees were popping champagne, I was like, let's wait a little bit before we celebrate too much. Which
I hate the every round popping champagne thing. It pisses me the frick off.
I'm not wild about it either. For example, I'm not trying to be disrespectful here, but for a team like the Mariners, when they had broken that playoff streak or that playoff drought rather, that I see as a viable thing. When you have a major achievement about it shouldn't be an automatic thing. Is my point. If there's a major thing that you're celebrating by getting into the playoffs, you've broken a drought. Or you did it, or you did it by getting in on the last day, or something like that.
Yeah.
Those are reasons to do it. Not when you're we still got in, even though we pissed away a 16-game lead. That there's literally tweets or X posts, screenshots of people saying, "Oh no way, we're going to blow a 15-game lead." Right? Talk about some of the worst. The most freezing cold takes in history.
And you know what the worst part about popping the bottles if you're the Tigers is? Because every social media team was posting, their teams popping bottles. Can you imagine the comment section under the Detroit Tigers thing saying we clinched the postseason, knowing that they pissed away the division that bad?
Can I imagine it? I ran to look at it.
Yeah, I that's so bad that it's honestly, it's come on, man. It's can you read the room, please?
That's word for word. That's exactly what I was just going to say. I was going to say, these people could not, they did not, now, to be fair to whoever posted those things, I'm guessing that whoever made those posts themselves.
It's their job.
Yeah. So inherently, let me just make it. I just want to make it clear that the specific people who made those posts, I wasn't targeting at them per se, but it's just the whole concept of it. And I think it just goes. And again, maybe this is probably the take where I end up being the old man shouting at the sky type of thing. But one, there was no reason for the Mets or the Marlins to be in the postseason race as late as they were. Yeah. Neither one of those teams ever looked like they were going to be a legitimate World Series threat. The fact that we expanded the playoffs to the fact that 12 teams out of 30 now make the playoffs, I think was a disservice to baseball. It was a disservice to the teams. And quite frankly, I don't need to see the 12th best team in baseball just because they got hot at the right time, winning the World Series and being in the conversation with teams like the 2016 Cubs, with teams like the 1998 Yankees, with teams like pick your team here, basically. That to my vantage point, we have done so much to support teams that lose, so much to support teams that don't pay their players. We have done so much to those things, and we've almost villainized and disrespected and almost penalized and punished teams for being successful and teams for winning. And I think that that's pathetic. I think that that's antithetical to competition and to sports. I don't like it. And I think that, one of the worst things, and I see it across sports, not just in baseball, recent memory, to act like teams are doing something wrong by winning and act like teams deserve to be, taken down a peg or penalized for being successful, for winning, for competing, and actually getting to where you play the game to be. There is one reason there's one reason that when you're 5 years old, you go out and you start playing. There's one reason why you go into the draft. There's one reason why you go to the pros. You go to win. And if you're not going to win, get out.
It almost feels like and I'm on board with it where it's like the third wild card is such a crap way. Like all those in both the pretty much the AL and the NL. The third wild card teams that are in there now, they did not deserve to be there at all. So it's like, you have the Reds going into the third wild card. They only won, 83 games?
I don't even remember. And I'm pretty
83.
Yeah. And lo and behold, what did we just say? Who was the sixth wild card, or who was the sixth team, so the third wild card team in the AL? It was the Detroit Tigers who just crapped away the AL Central.
Yep.
In my mind, it is more embarrassing for them to be considered a playoff team than if we only had 5 teams in
and because they make it in, they're popping bottles for it. So it's like, well, what are we doing here?
And also, I'll add another element to this. The trade deadline currently ends on, roughly July 31st, August 1st. There's been talk about moving it back to August 15th. But what do we see happening now? Teams are a lot less aggressive then. Teams are a lot less willing to either, go all in on buying or to begin selling because they're like, well, if we just get a hot streak, we can get the number 6 spot and blah, 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 blah. Teams will, be less willing to, sell off guys who are likely to walk at the end of the year. We all remember the infamous Trevor Story thing with Colorado.
Yep.
And, and what would they be able to do? They would be able to get back cost-controlled young talent to develop and actually bring a potential future winner to their organization. But no, they'd rather try and throw things at a wall and hope what sticks in terms of trying to bring in something that was going to be maybe, if they're lucky, get them through one round of success. And it's to me those things are not independent of one another.
They all go hand in hand. And it's like, and then, but besides all that stuff, because I want to talk about the other wild card games too. But so going over to Cubs Padres, I think the only thing that helps the Cubs out is home field advantage there. Being at Wrigley, historic ballpark, but being at Wrigley for them, I think that's basically what's going to tip the scales for me for them as in terms of winning the series. And then I think Red Sox Yankees. I'm not going to lie and say I'm not concerned about it because the Yankees don't hit Garrett Crochet well, and no one really does. So, that's a game where I think Max Fried's the starter for game one.
Garrett Crochet versus Max Fried, game one.
So Max Fried is going to have to match him for 6-7 innings. This can't be a game where he has one bad inning and gives up like a 3-run bomb or something like that, because I don't think the Yankees can win that game. So he's going to have to be on point. And I mean, listen, the Red Sox, just roster-wise, 1 through 9, they don't have the firepower to compete with the Yankees. The Yankees, if you want to assert your dominance and if you want to show that you're pissed about not only losing a division on the last day of the season, but that you won 94 games this year, you basically had a top 6-7 record in baseball this year. If you want to go out and prove that that's the team that you are, you better hit Crochet in game one. I don't want to see them going down on strikes because he's just so much better than everyone else. No, the New York Yankees, hit the damn guy. You've seen him enough this season. You need to hit him. And then, so if they want to make so to me, it's only Yankees in 2. If they, in the first 2 games, if they sweep them, pretty much, it's only 2 if they hit Crochet. Because then after that, I like their chances. But so they have to prove they can hit him. And then Reds, Dodgers, I mean, I hate to say it this way, but Reds, thanks for playing. Thanks for getting in, but goodbye. Because like it's the same reasons that you said, Scoop. That roster is just not even close to the Dodgers. And the Dodgers, I mean, they all can hit pretty much 1 through 9, and if not consistently, they're all clutch. The Reds, they lost. This game to the Brewers today didn't look good. Like they're just not a team that, if they're going to lose to the Brewers on the final day of the season, it's like they're already going in with like a loss coming into that series. I don't see them playing the Dodgers for 3 games and winning winning one of them. I think Dodgers are going to take them in 2 pretty easily, especially in LA. So
the only thing that to me gives them a little bit of, I'm not even going to say an advantage, but a little bit of additional grace, or I don't know what word to use here. But the only thing that I think may potentially be there as a hope for them, well, one, as I mentioned, in my opinion, greatest manager in recent baseball, Terry Francona. He's if you need to manage a series where your back's against the wall, I don't know a guy in recent memory to do it more than Terry Francona. That being, and on top of that, excuse me, we've just seen over the last few years. We saw it one year with the Braves. We saw it actually with the Yankees when the Judge and Tyler Austin and Greg Bird, when those guys were still coming out. We saw it 1 year with the Marlins. We saw it with the Astros when they were first coming on. There seems to be this thing where these young teams sometimes will just break through a little bit 1 year earlier than we think. And if there's just a sort of strong chemistry there, chemistry beats talent. It does. And so if there is a strong enough chemistry there, now again, I'm saying I genuinely don't know. This is an NL Central team in a small market. I haven't watched them play, I think, more than 2 games this year. So I genuinely don't know. I'm at the mercy of what is available on Statcast and Fangraphs and the other things. But if their chemistry is that good with Tito there as their leader, I'm reluctant to completely give them no chance whatsoever. It is absolutely, as I said, their backs are against the wall. But I'm saying if it becomes interesting, I think it's going to be off the back of those couple things.
Yeah. So then two more things I think we should cook. Just real quick before we get off tonight. So So the first thing, because
I want to cover the actual schedule because I'm kind of pissed at this actual schedule. But
yeah.
Oh, you mean like the time of the games? You mean?
That's
plus the actual placement of the games themselves.
Okay.
I was gonna get. That's actually where I was going. I was going into the times of the games.
Okay.
Now,
do you want me to go through them really quick before you go?
Yeah, go through them real fast.
Yeah. So let's see. I got to go Eastern time. So 1 p.m. first game of the day is Tigers Guardians ESPN. Then Padres Cubs at 3 on ABC. So those are going simultaneously. Then Red Sox Yankees at what is this, like 8 o'clock?
6.
Yeah, 6. Oh yeah, it's 6. Jesus,
it's the prime time game. It's the prime time game.
Which that's not prime time on the West Coast.
Yeah,
3 o'clock on the West Coast, 6 o'clock on the East Coast, and then the night game is Reds Dodgers for some god awful reason. I hate this. This is like why do we have a game at 10 a.m.? Why is this a thing in the postseason?
So I get that they've done this for years now, and I understand kind of why. I mean, there's a lot of scheduling conflicts, but
scheduling conflicts.
But because you know, they all have their reasons. Like they're like, oh, no, we can't move this show for this or whatever. Like, you know, the things that they do sometimes. But
it's postseason baseball. The Mercury moved the Jonas Brothers for a WNBA game this weekend.
but like, you know, it's like I don't want to. But this is why I was getting pissed off though, and like with the TCA chat and all, and why we were kind of talking about this. They've done this way for years, and I understand that, but nobody is going to be home to watch those first 2 games. So, like, you know, MLB talks about like growing the game and making it and bringing baseball into a modern age.
That's a crutch.
But you can't grow the game when 12 people are watching it on a Tuesday afternoon because everybody's working. Like, so like
and they do this in the divisional round too.
And then if you're on the West Coast,
series.
Like, so if you're on the West Coast, the only game you're going to be able to watch from start to finish is Dodgers Reds, because 3 o'clock for if you're on the West Coast for Yankees Red Sox, you're still at work. People leave work at 4 or 5 o'clock. You're going to miss most of the game by the time you get home,
if not all of it. Yeah.
So
and it's like, Red Sox Yankees.
Yeah, like honestly, the way I would have done it is, I would have done it a little bit. Like, see, because the thing is, you do have to spread the games out. They all kind of can't be at the same time. So you want to have them spread out. So what I would have done is, I would have made it probably like 3:30, 5:30, 7:30, and 10:30.
No! I hate this. No! This is stupid.
Well, how else are you gonna do it? How else are you gonna do it?
2 game during the weekdays. It's 2 games, both prime time. That's it.
But they don't want to do it that way.
Why not? It's the postseason.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to figure out a way that keeps with their current model of doing it, and can still work.
What current model? I don't care if the World Series is in the beginning of November. Give me nighttime baseball. This is stupid.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just trying to say I'm trying to figure it out on their end. Like, I'm not. I'm on.
You want 12 viewers on flipping ABC?
Yeah, like honestly though, but like Tigers Guardians, like especially with those 2 teams being on on Central Time, so that game's really at 12 o'clock for them. So yeah, let me use my lunch break, my 15-minute lunch break, to watch Tigers Guardians. You know,
for 2 innings and then go back to work.
No, for half an inning, and I'm gonna go back to work. And by the time I come home, oh great, my team lost. Like, all right, I didn't get to see any of it. So like I don't understand. Like, Cubs, like all these games are just it's not right. Like on the East Coast, I'm fine with the 6 o'clock start for the. Well, really, to me, it should be 7 o'clock and 10 o'clock if you're on the East Coast. It shouldn't be 6 and 9.
That's really what it. I'd be fine because that's what they're doing for Monday Night Football anyway.
But honestly, if I'm like, when it comes to, like, and I'm agreeing with you, Rob, about how they should change the whole schedule around and put 2 games at a certain time.
It's so stupid, bro.
But the thing is that if you're, you know, just as a general rule of thumb, no game for postseason baseball should start before like 5, 6 o'clock. No game should.
Unless it's the weekend. If it's the weekend, I don't care.
Yeah, unless it's the weekend. Which, if I'm saying, like for the wild card series, which is usually during the week, like those games should not start before 5 o'clock East Coast time, Eastern Standard Time. Like, none of them.
Even then, I hate that. But yeah,
it's like you know. But here's the thing, you know, you're not gonna be able to, like, I hate it too, but anybody who's not, like, you know, who just wants to watch their game, like, you don't want to be overloaded by 4 baseball games taking place at 8 o'clock at night.
That's not what I'm saying. Put a doubleheader each day, and let's keep it that way. It might inconvenience the players. I don't care.
So basically,
the NFL doesn't give a crap.
So if you do
TV ratings.
So if you do 2 and 2, right, and that's why I said 2. It was the whole TV ratings thing. But if you do 2 and 2, right, so when would you start the game? 7 and 10, or have it be like 8?
7 and 10. 7 and 10. 7 and 10. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
Yeah.
So NFL fucking does it.
You know what the MLB also gets worried about too, because I think they said this at the end of this last weekend. They said the MLB also has this like OCD thing where they all want to try to line up the matchups as much as possible, like so that every pitching staff or every team
I don't
has
care.
the same amount of rest. Yeah, I don't care either.
Who cares?
Because it's like, what do you mean rest?
So you're saying you don't care about TV ratings? Well, guess who's not going to be in your fold this year? Next year, ESPN.
Yeah.
Because what kind of ratings are they getting?
Yeah, and
not entirely in their fold.
But the best part about all this too is like they care about ratings, and the changes that they've made to baseball have sped the game up. More people are watching baseball now, but this is a way to quickly turn off everybody you just gained. Pretty much like with the schedule. So like
your biggest game is at 10 o'clock Pacific.
And they keep saying that they want to give all these teams like a proper amount of rest. What do you mean rest? They just played 162 regular season games.
And a lot of them have 1 day rest and they're playing on a Tuesday.
Yeah, they're all exhausted. They're all tired. And the thing is, when it's a postseason in any sport, all the teams are tired. It's fatigue. It happens. So then you want to give them rest. There's no rest. It's a postseason. Like, I don't understand this. Like, I can't, man. Like, I love sports, but just like how football's pissing me off this year, postseason baseball's going to piss me off even more. Like, this is ridiculous.
Baseball, to me, has some of the dumbest scheduling of any sport.
Oh, it does. It does. Yep.
Just because, like, this is stupid. Scoop, do you want to chime in on this? Do you have anything? You're on Central, so at least you're kind of in the middle, but it's still ass.
Yeah, I'm on Central, but I'll be honest, I don't have the strong opinions on this that you two do. So
that's amazing.
So yeah, I'm just being honest there. I don't really,
You're fine with noon baseball on a Monday or on a Tuesday?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not fine with that. But I'm just saying I don't have like a great like a better solution to propose. Is what I mean.
Yeah, I can't. I like what Rob said, but I'm trying to think. Like, is that the best solution? Like, is it?
Yes.
It's here's the only other thing that I'm coming up with is, like, for example, you talked about how Monday Night Football, they stack one game and then another game.
4:15, 5:15, so 7:15, 8:15. Yeah, that's what they're doing tomorrow.
Oh, okay. I thought they usually let one game end and then try and start the other one out.
They're doing for some dumb reason they're doing it so two double headers are from East Coast time, one's at 7 and one's at 10. There's like two of them. We already went through one, which was shitty. And then they're doing another one. And then the other ones they're stacking 7:15, 8:15.
All right, well that's dumb as shit. But what I was referring to was what I was referring to was the ones that go at, like, let's say 7 and 10, like just to use numbers, right? So so my thought process is, all right, we've got 2 3-game series here. So, wait, is that? Yeah, that's right. 2, 3. I don't know why I.
Yeah, 2 per.
Yeah.
League. So, yeah.
Yeah. So my thought process is, if we're going to use this period of time, stagger them similarly, where you've got let's say, and if you want to get people from all across, let's say, 9 o'clock Eastern would be 6 o'clock Western. So
yeah,
it's not super late for one, and then, excuse me, sorry. You know, and again, I don't know what you would do with the other ones, or maybe you do it where there's like, you know, one in each league on, you know, one day, one in each league on another day. Because it's just, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I don't see any realistic way that you're going to make it so that every like you can that one person could be able to see every game in theory. I just don't see how you're going to make that happen.
It's the postseason. It's the playoffs.
Yeah,
that's dumb. That is incredibly dumb. If you want to watch all the games, you should be able to.
Yeah,
okay.
That's true.
I don't disagree. I'm not saying that it shouldn't be. I'm just saying I generally don't see mathematically how that happens. Baseball plays a lot more games than keep in mind, playoff football, each team, it's one and done. You're not having to try and squeeze in potentially anywhere between 3 to 6 to 7 games. It's just a different way that the game is done. I think that's a fundamental part of the issue that you're talking about, because because NFL is able to stagger them very well on weekends because it's a one and done situation. Baseball's not. You've got 2 of 3, then 3 of 5, then 4 of 7 twice.
NBA and NHL does 7-game series every round.
Yeah.
They put all the games at like 4 or 7 and 10 or around there.
Yeah,
that's literally what they do, unless it's a weekend. Or COVID, which they didn't do that for obvious reasons.
And they're able to do that without 2 games ever going on simultaneously?
No. I'm fine with 2 games going on simultaneously. The MLB is doing it tomorrow anyway, or on Tuesday with the ABC game. They're doing that anyway.
That's when I said you're not going to be able to watch every game. That's what I meant. I meant that games are going to have to go on simultaneously. That's what I meant.
No, I don't care. I have multi-view. I'll watch both. I don't care.
Okay,
I don't care.
That's literally what I meant when I said you're not going to be able to watch every game. That's what I meant.
No, that's fine. I'm fine with games going on simultaneously. Monday Night Football is going to be that tomorrow with the shittiest games on planet Earth.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we had a miscommunication there. That's
fine. That's fine. Okay. But okay, so then why? Okay, then let's go even deeper. Why is the simultaneous games at flipping noon?
Yeah, they should be later.
That's like when I was thinking about with like the 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, because like that to me feels like the most likely window for everybody to be able to at least see part of the game. Because
I'm fine with 2 6 o'clock, 2 9 o'clocks. Who cares? That's fine. ABC needs as much inventory as they can get anyway. Who cares?
The thing is, I understand. I actually understand doing it that way with the 2 and 2 because then so. Not everybody in America is going to be watching, because people root for different teams. So everybody in America is going to be watching, Tigers, Guardians the same way they're going to be watching Yankees, Red Sox. So it's like, so.
I guess I have a good feeling of which one's going to be more interesting nationally. Just going to say.
Oh yeah.
No, but that okay, and that's part of the problem for us West Coast plebs. Here in the West Coast, I hate that Red Sox Yankees is at 3. Who the hell came up with that?
Yeah, that's a bit insane.
That's stupid. That is beyond dumb.
Can you imagine? Oh my God! Just wait for the broadcast on Tuesday night, or Tuesday, as everybody's getting ready to settle for dinner on the East Coast, and they're like, and the sun's starting to go down and all this stuff. They're like, "Oh, welcome to primetime baseball." Rob looks out his window. It's still sunny outside.
It's 3.
What is happening?
It's not primetime. It's 3. It's 3 o'clock. It's 3.
You look outside, and the sun's
not
setting.
Prime time.
And the sun is setting in the Bronx. We're getting ready for postseason baseball. Here's the West Coast. The sun is blinding me at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. All right.
Just getting home from my 40-hour a week work job. I'm going to go and start putting some dinner on. I look at the TV. It's the 7th inning.
It's like, oh, I can't wait to watch some baseball. So I just got off of work. Let me sit down. Let me start making some food.
Yeah, let me watch Reds Dodgers. Jesus.
Yeah, we can watch Shohei Ohtani hit 4 grand slams against the Reds,
and then we can go to bed early. Great.
Yeah, that was another thing is the geographic layout of it, which I know they try to I know that they try to care about that during the regular season. It's a little bit harder.
Geographic layout. One game's at noon Central. Geographic layout, my ass.
I mean,
are you kidding me?
You're not wrong, but
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just.
Oh man,
that's so dumb.
Like
Geographic, my ass. Noon baseball, postseason baseball at noon.
Mike, it's like, can you just imagine that? Like, especially when the first game is at 1 o'clock on the East Coast. People on the West Coast are just having like their second cup of coffee in the morning at work. Oh yeah, here comes postseason baseball, Tigers Guardians. It's like, bro, I just got to work an hour ago. What are you talking about? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
I just had my morning coffee. No, but the other what's the other thing is, even the attendance I don't think is that good for a lot of those morning games.
It's not gonna be. People are at work. Like, people work. I don't know if you know what's funny. We're the land of capitalism, and we're the land of the American dollar. Do you know how much the ratings and the attendance are going to suffer because people are working on a Tuesday? Come on.
No, but the only 2 weekdays we take off for sports are March Madness. Those first 2 days. That's it. Other than that, we're not doing it for postseason baseball.
And the day after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
If
you're
that's
drunk.
It. But everybody's hungover as all hell. But I don't want to. Thank God when we get to the next rounds, it'll be a little bit better. Like the
divisional series isn't better. There's games on at 9 a.m.
Is it?
Yeah, my time.
I don't remember the games being on at 12 in a divisional series.
Yeah, the Guardians game last year, one of them was at 9.
Oh, that's right, it was. Wait a minute, yes, it was. Oh, I forgot about it. Oh my God! Can you imagine? I mean, this doesn't ever happen because the World Series is just 2 teams, right? But can you imagine?
The Fox execs are like, "Hey, can you put this game on at 3 Eastern? Game 7 of the World Series 3 Eastern on a Tuesday."
Can you imagine having Game 7 at noon on the East Coast? So at 9 o'clock, so we're waking up for Game 7 on the West Coast, having our morning coffee and a donut. Yeah, let's get ready for Game 7, baby. Let's go.
The best part about this conversation is that in 20 years' time, we're gonna have the Super Bowl live from London. It's 10 o'clock on the Pacific Coast.
It's going to be 3 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast and 6 in the morning on the East Coast. And here's the Super Bowl. Yeah, nice. No one's going to care in America at that point. But so I'm glad.
Yeah, so basically, baseball thinks it's Europe for half the day.
I don't know. I don't know anymore. But then, okay, so you get the whole timeline thing in baseball. So we've covered that. We know how Scoop and I feel about the Yankees. I wish Shane was here, but Rob, what do you think is going to happen with your Mariners?
We're losing in 6, or we're losing in the divisional round in 4 or 5.
Do you really think that's going to happen?
Yeah. Everyone freaking out that we're going to make the World Series is stupid.
Who would you play? Remind me, who would you play?
Wait, divisional series is 5, right? I'm not tripping, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking we'll lose in 4.
To who? Yeah. Who do you think?
To whoever the fuck we play.
Wait. I have to look at the plate. Let me look at the bracket. Let me look at the bracket.
Okay. I'm stopping you.
The Tigers or the Guardians? Yeah, we lose. I'm being real. This is the Mariners. I'm too broken.
If it's the Guardians, yes, you probably do lose. Yeah. If it's the Tigers, I think you beat them in 4. I don't think.
Well, it's not going to be the Tigers. If it's I think because I my apologies. I always get tripped up with the 3-5-7 thing in baseball. Yeah. I think it's a little weird, but I get why. No, I think we lose in 4. I think. Oh, we'll see. I think we totally lose in 4.
I like the formatting of the 3, 5, 7, and 7 because.
I like it too. I just confuses me because I'm more in a baseball or basketball and hockey brain.
Like, do you know how stressful it was though when the wild card was just one game, so it was just game 163, and you had to win that game or you went home.
Like, I hated that damn game.
I like it's a 3-game series. That way, if you lose the first game, you're not done. You still, but I mean, you have to win the next 2. You're not done.
Yeah. I mean, frankly, I liked it better when it was just 5-7-7. Why did we need the wild card series to begin with?
Well, yeah, like that. And this is why, once again, circling back to it, having that third wild card doesn't make sense.
That's my point.
Like I would rather have, like, I'm glad that we have a wild card because remember, many moons ago, 30, 40 years ago, there was no such thing as a wild card. But like, I like the 2 wild card teams because in both leagues, the top 2 wild card teams are still very good baseball teams. They are. Yeah. But it's like that, like we were saying before, that third team does not deserve to get in. They just don't. No. Is there a chance they make a run? Of course there is. They're in the postseason. But like that's like saying that the 7th seed in the NFL is going to go to the Super Bowl. No, they're not.
Yeah. Not anytime soon. The 3-5-7 thing I like, but I always get tripped up by it. No, but I think the Mariners, they had a good run. I don't expect much more. If they win the World Series and I start working at some job, I gotta find a way to get off work that one day we have the fucking parade. But
Rob
is so pissed.
Bro, do you know how crazy parades are in Seattle? They're fucking insane.
Oh yeah,
not as insane as Philly.
I've never been to Seattle for anything.
Well,
dude,
here's
bro. When the Seahawks had that parade, I was still in school, and my parents were like, "Nope, you're going to school," and we just did nothing. We watched the parade and drew coloring books. For 7 hours.
I don't care what it takes, but for the sake of our show and for the conversations that we can have this year, I desperately want Yankees Mariners ALCS.
Oh my god!
I want that badly. I want it so bad.
We might have to live stream some of the games so we can freaking rage.
Oh, we could. Oh my god. Well,
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'll be on a delay, so you guys will be reacting. Like, wait, I'll see it. Hold on.
Here's the other question: Who has both CS? What network has each one this year?
I would assume Fox probably has one of them.
Well, I know it's Fox and TBS, but who has which?
Fox, I think usually.
No, Fox has AL. TBS has AL.
I think it flip flops every year. It goes.
Yeah, that's why I was asking.
Yeah.
Are you guys excited for more Bob Costas commentary this year? Are we getting it? I have no clue actually if we are. I don't think we are.
I looked at the series this coming week. We have David Cohn, which made me happy.
Yes.
Then we had Bob Costas.
Oh,
we have
Eduardo Perez.
We have Eduardo Perez, and then we have I forget what the other human's name is, but it's them 4. So it's basically
started off on such a high note.
I know.
And now it's gone.
Dude, I desperately want another Yankees series with Bob Costas on the call just to hear Brandon lose his shit,
bro.
I think you'll hear me lose my shit more than Brandon. I was pissed.
I was so glad,
and I don't care for Eduardo Perez either.
The ALDS. I was so glad I went to Game 1 because then when I watched the other games on TV in that series against the Royals, literally there was a big RBI single in the 7th inning, and Bob Costas is talking about some World War II baseball event from 1940, and I'm like, I don't care, bro. Call the game. Bro,
I love Bob, but it's been rough.
Bob Costas is such a great baseball historian, but
he's not a broadcaster anymore. He's just not.
I was going to say, there's a reason why you don't put baseball historians on broadcasts like that.
I don't want to listen to a Ken Burns documentary narrated by Keith.
That's exactly where my mind just was. No, and it's also here's what I really want to watch this year. If we get a World Series of, let's say, the Reds and the Tigers, or the Reds and the Mariners, hear me out. because all these people.
I need to get drunk and get Taco Bell if that happens.
Because all these people say all year long, I love to see new teams in. Oh, I love to see these teams that don't usually get in. When we had that happen a few years ago when it was Rangers Diamondbacks, the ratings sucked.
Yeah.
Oh, they were unbelievable.
Nobody watched it.
So I want to see again this year if we get two more so-called small market teams, which I think is a stupid moniker to begin with. But if we get two more of those this year, I want to see, are the ratings terrible again? Because if they are, then I'm so sick and tired of people telling me nobody wants to see the Yankees and nobody wants to, because
exactly.
in the words of Pete Weber, love him or hate him, you watched.
Yep.
Yeah, that is true. We watched Dodgers Yankees.
And all of us in Yankee land and Dodgers land or whatever, we're also quoting the great Pete Weber by saying, "Who do you think you are?
We are."
Yeah.
No, but another. So a couple NFL tidbits that relate to this before we go. Are you guys excited for Bucks Seahawks to get moved to 10 a.m. in Seattle?
What? Wait, hang on. Back up. 10 p.m. What time zone?
My time zone.
Okay, so it'd be noon here. Okay.
Yeah, because apparently the Seahawks didn't think the Mariners would make the playoffs because we can't have both games happening simultaneously because our traffic sucks. So they're gonna have to move the games probably.
Oh my god!
So Bucks Seahawks at 10 o'clock sounds fan-fucking-tastic to me.
See, you know what's funny? It's like you never have to worry, even though most Giants fans are Yankees fans and vice versa. Like at least they play in two different states. You don't have to worry about the traffic that bad. But no, in Seattle it's like the Mariners.
Oh yeah, we got to move it back.
Yeah,
we got to move it back.
No,
it's so stupid. Oh, by the way, that game's on CBS for some reason. Okay,
why? It's an NFC battle.
I don't understand how that works. I've never understood how that works.
Unless, does Fox have the baseball games that day?
No, they can't because FS1. Those games are going to be on FS1.
Okay, yeah.
I'm trying to think. Is there any other random?
The scheduling of baseball. And
Giant Saints is also on CBS. Fun.
Giant Saints. That game's gonna.
Oh my god, that's Pocket's game of the year. I found it.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It's not. What's the Giants? What's worse than Giants?
Vikings, Browns, and London. It's much worse. And we can't pick the Saints. Actually, now we can. Are the Saints off Pocket's purgatory?
I mean, given the fight they gave Buffalo for 3.5 years, I don't know.
We're putting them in. No, I'm bike. Okay, so that brings up really quick. That brings up another point. How do you guys watch football and baseball at the same time? I don't think I've ever done it on a Sunday.
I just do it
for baseball.
Well, because I can't. Yeah. No, go ahead, Scoop.
I mean, I don't do it at the same time. I switch the channel back and forth.
Yeah, like how I do.
When you're watching Red Zone, it's kind of impossible.
Yeah. See.
I don't watch Red Zone.
See, the good thing is that being a Yankees fan, all our games are primetime that night. So
you only have Sunday night and that game.
So then it's like the Eagles play at 1 o'clock or 4, and then the Yankees play at 7. So I can watch both my games no problem.
And I've been really fortunate because somehow every time there's been a non-primetime Eagles game down here, the Fox here has carried the Eagles game every single time. I don't know how.
It's happening here too because the Eagles are interesting.
Well,
because Tom Brady's calling every single one of your damn games. But okay.
But do you know?
I like Brady as a commentator.
Do you know who doesn't get Eagles games every week though, and has to have the streaming box for it just to get it?
Who?
Me.
Even though because you get Giants and Jets games.
Because we get Giants and Jets, the Eagles are basically blacked out in our area. So
blackout rules are so stupid.
So pretty much.
Why do you think I watch Red Zone?
So
never to deal with it ever.
So in the past couple of years, when Rob has showed us the coverage map of a big Eagles game, it'd be like Eagles Bills or whatever. 99% of the country gets the Eagles-Bills game. Do you know the 1% of the country that doesn't get it?
And you get Jets Patriots
Central Jersey.
Yeah, and they'll give us like Jets Browns. I'm like, who gives a shit? That game sucks. Like, it's not just the fact that I'm an Eagles
Jets
fan.
Fans, man, we got to support the Jets.
What Jets fans? All 12 of them? What Jets fans? Like, seriously, like
Winnipeg.
Why am I the 1%?
They're a different coverage map. Canada's a different coverage map.
No, I know. He said what? I said Winnipeg. I was being
like I don't understand how like Rob always shows us like the past couple, not this year so far, but always shows.
Yeah, because I stopped caring about coverage maps. They're stupid.
Yeah, because
that's why I don't show you them anymore because I don't care. I watch Red Zone. I don't give a crap.
Literally, like they'll highlight whatever like the important game is every week. Like they'll highlight it in red, and it'll show like which areas of the country get that game in red. Literally, the only like blue section that does not get the game is North Jersey, where I'm at, because we have to watch Jets and Giants every week and nothing else. I'm like, this is why I have a streaming box. I didn't miss the Eagles game today, Eagles Buccaneers. I watched the whole damn thing. Like.
Yeah, I watched it on Red Zone because I care about watching the whole league. Even though I'll be honest, the whole league is boring, but I don't care. I'm going to watch it anyway.
The no fun league,
dude. Waking up early to watch these international games are going to kill me. I can already tell.
But you don't have to do it.
Yes, I do, because if something happens and we have to talk about it during the show, I have to know that thing happened. I can't just wake up and be like.
But you've told me
there was a tie from the Jets Broncos game. We have to talk about it. Damn it, I missed it.
But the thing is, you've told me that you will sometimes even speed through the highlights to watch the game if you miss a lot of it.
Sometimes, but still, I'm trying to wake up.
I might watch Red Zone when the Eagles have their bye.
That's a good time to watch it. Vikings Browns though, I am not excited to wake up for that.
I will say maybe this just interests me because, like, knowing the backstory there, but Kevin Stefanski did go to Cleveland from the Vikings.
Yes, still it's in Tottenham.
So I mean, I know we're still a little bit early on it because we'll probably talk about it tomorrow instead of today, or hell, even I think we'll talk about it on Thursday. But for that game, I literally, for our pick'em league, might pick the Browns because Carson Wentz is starting. He'll throw 1,000 interceptions in that game.
I'm having a tough time. Yeah, so tomorrow
I gotta check and see how everybody's doing in our pick'em league. I haven't checked the standings for pick'em.
Rob and I are tied for second, and Shane is dead last somehow.
I gotta see where I'm at.
So tomorrow, Jets Dolphins 7:15 on ESPN, Bengals Broncos 8:15 on ABC. Have fun, folks. Have fun, folks.
No. Just no.
No. Just no.
This is the one time where I wish postseason baseball could start tomorrow and not have to watch that, because that is going to be a disgrace to football.
I'm tied with some human named Sam Pasternak.
Oh, Sam, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then our buddy Alex is top of the board right now.
Alex through the first half of the season always starts off strong in our pick'em league, and then we end up catching him by the end of it. So hopefully it's the same thing.
There's a three-way between Brandon, Alex, and Tiffany. There's a tie between the three of you.
Let's see. What else? What other? I know we talked about the international games. So we have Vikings, Browns, Broncos, Jets at Wembley in 2 weeks. I'm not excited to wake up for that.
The only part of the international games that I love, and I think it's only the Ireland games as far as I know right now, is hearing them sing "Sweet Caroline."
Oh yeah. Actually, wait, I don't. I think Broncos Jets is also at Tottenham. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And then what is it? What's the other one? You guys are excited for Rams Jaguars in London?
Well,
they're both 3-1.
That could be something. And also, listen, given the fact that London is the secondary home of the Jaguars, and that the Rams are actually like today's win was actually pretty good for them, that could be a sneaky good. It could be actually.
Yeah. I didn't realize the Jaguars were 3-1 before y'all told me that. So
yeah, Falcons Colts week 10 in Berlin. I don't know. We went through this like last show. I don't know. I'm going through it again, but I'm going to keep doing it.
I know, but every time you mention it, it doesn't make me die inside less.
Week 11 in Madrid. Commanders Dolphins.
Well, see here. In fairness,
that maybe should have been good.
Yeah, that should have been good before the teams got banged up.
Sorry, NFL Network.
This hurts me.
Did you wake up for the Steelers game this morning?
I only watched the fourth quarter. That's it.
I woke up at 3 a.m. to watch it.
Honestly, if you just watched the fourth quarter, that's all you needed to watch in this game.
Yeah, that's true.
You woke up at I could never.
Yeah, I woke up at 3 a.m. Ate a little bit, took a 3-hour nap, and then woke up at 6:30 and watched the game.
Yeah, I could never wake up at 3 a.m. to watch a game my team wasn't playing in.
Yeah, that's why literally like at that random burst of energy he had at like 3:30 in the morning where he texted us in the chat, and I'm like, bro, I just started going off to sleep. Here's my phone going. Brr, brr. I'm like, oh, come on, man! I'm just trying to sleep. Like,
what can I say? I'm excited for stupid football. Woo!
Only you. That's why I call you a masochist. Because there's
the only time I took a nap was like a little bit during the 10 o'clock window yesterday or last week because it was kind of boring until the end and I already knew what happened for most of the games anyway.
Oh, do you know that I was so tired from like the late window being so crap today that I took a nap and didn't wake up until the second quarter of the Packers-Cowboys game. And I guess what? I didn't miss anything. The score's only 7-0. Like
probably, yeah, no.
Missed nothing. So nice.
And for some of these international games, I'm gonna have to pull all-nighters again. I did that last week. I don't want to do that again, but I'm gonna have to at some point.
I have a question.
Yes.
So you say you want to watch those games because you want to be able to talk about them on the show, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you just DVR them and wake up at a normal hour?
I DVR every game. I still want to wake up and watch them.
I can imagine that DVR is on its last breath, gasping for storage.
There's no storage. It's YouTube TV.
Okay, never mind. I was gonna say, yeah, but you could still run out. You could still run out technically. I think, right? Because
Nope.
Really?
Nope. It's unlimited.
I have YouTube TV also.
It's unlimited.
Because I was gonna say, like, when you have like with my Gmail, it keeps saying I ran out of storage, even though I don't store anything in my
my dad randomly gave me Google One last month. I was like, what?
Yeah,
so I have 1 terabyte. Now I have 1 terabyte of Gmail storage.
I just bought it because it was like, oh yeah, you might want to delete like these 3 videos. I deleted 3 videos. It's like, oh yeah, delete 5 more. Delete those 5. Oh yeah, delete 10 more. I'm like, I'm deleting plenty of space. What are you talking about?
Google's just making you buy crap.
Yeah, so I just caved in and bought it because it's not that expensive. It's like it's not expensive at all. So I just bought the extra storage.
What's up with the YouTube live stream? Are we bugged?
We've probably been on for too long. It's been almost 3 hours.
Oh, Shane said you guys are still live. My God. Yeah, because we've been yelling about Major League Baseball and international.
Yeah, it's almost 2:00 in the morning here.
Thank you guys for watching 4 straight hours of football for a tie and watching us for 3 hours. We appreciate it. We very much appreciate it.
Yeah.
This is what we do on Sundays.
Mondays.
And now Mondays, because Monday's gonna be Monday we're talking about Iron Claw, so thank God for that.
Saying it's Monday now.
Yeah.
Yes, but thank God we're talking about Iron Claw tomorrow, because if we didn't do that, I would have been pissed.
That's gonna dominate our whole show tomorrow, because the football game is gonna be 5 minutes of football and about 90 minutes of Iron Claw.
Yeah, there's really no point to talk about the games at all. Anyway, thank you guys for staying up with us as always. We very much appreciate it. And we'll see you tomorrow for some crappy football. Peace, everybody.
Good night.
See you, everybody.